The gaming news today is all about waiting. Now, before I get into everything, if you like my content here, make sure you hit like and subscribe and hit the like button. Even if you're watching later, it helps. And consider the join button. And if you do, make sure you pick Member Plus to get into the backside of this channel where we discuss lots of things behind the scene. Now, first in the gaming news, there's another theory forming about the GTA 6 trailer 2. It honestly lines up with one of my predictions. I thought they're going to do a trailer near the end of January. They're going to want to get it out before the February 6th Take-Two earnings call. Now, unfortunately, I think if my theory is correct, it's just going to say fall of 2025 in this trailer if it does in fact land before the earnings call. The latest theory is coming from an image published by Rockstar. There's numbers on it. When you add them up, they add up to 30. And people are like, well, January 30th, that's going to be the date for the GTA 6 trailer 2. They've got good reasons for this. GTA 5 unveiled its release date on January 31st, and Red Dead Redemption 2 unveiled its release date on February the 1st, right around the time where they're typically doing their earnings calls, but those were landing before. People think GTA 6 is going to do the same thing. So a lot of blood has been spilled over this game, and that's what folks are thinking. So right now, GTA 6 Trailer 2 could be right around the corner. Our second story then is a reliable leaker has claimed that Call of Duty 2026 will see the return of DMZ. Many felt like DMZ didn't get the fairest of treatments in Modern Warfare 2, and it's allegedly going to be coming with raid modes as well. So Call of Duty 2026 right now is being leaked to have include both DMZ and raids. So if you like those in Modern Warfare 2 and you feel like they didn't get the greatest treatment, they could be making a bit of a comeback. Our next story is AC Shadows previews are heating up. We will be hearing tomorrow as well as seeing gameplay this week. Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming said, I'm looking forward to seeing the coverage of Assassin's Creed Shadows on Thursday, but there's a lot of positive buzz from those that I have spoken to. I really think this game is going to surprise folks from all the footage that's coming out. It's actually continued to look better and better, unlike other games, as I've said, like Star Wars Outlaws, continue to look worse and worse. And this is going to hit tomorrow, the same day as the Xbox Developer Direct. And on the subject of Xbox and the Developer Direct, we have an alleged release date of Doom: The Dark Ages. If this is true, the front half of 2025 just got a little bit more full. This comes from a French website that may have accidentally leaked the release date a few days ago, and this is what they said. Doom: The Dark Ages will decimate the Infernal Legions on May 15th of 2025. So if this rumor is true, then you've got a pretty heavy start to the year. Avowed in February, South of Midnight is allegedly coming out in March, and then Doom is now allegedly coming out in May. That's not a bad cadence at all. And then if the other things are true, then we've got Outer Worlds 2 coming later, as well as Fable, even though I think Fable slipped out of this year, but we'll see if it doesn't make it. Looks like it's going to be a very full year for Xbox. Now, on to other games on the other platform. PlayStation has this China Hero project coming, Phantom Blade Zero, and this trailer dropped yesterday, and the quick details are the PS5 version will run on a smooth and stable frame rate. There will be a PS5 Pro enhanced support version. It's designed to meet, quote, the true next-gen generation standards. It's inspired by Hong Kong martial arts films, combo-oriented action. There'll be multiple phase boss fights as they show in this video, and it will be in Unreal 5. They've had a significant budget increase after Black Myth Wukong. They were basically having to turn investors away as the market in China continues to show its viability. If you're worried it's a Souls-like, it is not a Souls-like. It is a combo-driven game. There will be difficulty options. There's rich character progression, and the mobs will not respawn after checkpoints or your death. So this is going to be a bit more of an action-oriented game that focuses on combos. Now, lastly, before I give you a game for your wishlist and your radar, we had confirmation, or seemingly we had confirmation, that the Horizon MMO was canceled yesterday. That is being retracted. Apparently, it hasn't been canceled, and there are still job postings for the game. The Korean reporter commented on this and said that the project has not been canceled and that apparently wires got crossed in the interpretation or the reporting. We'll have to wait and see if there's anything official said, but again, in the realm of officiality, there is still job postings for the Horizon MMO, which in the discussion of PlayStation live service games, I said a God of War live service game didn't make much sense, but I think the World of Horizon could actually do a very good job with the different factions, big monster fights like this. You could have people running defense, healing, DPS. There's all sorts of different layers to the combat that would actually work quite well in an MMO. And then I always try to give you a game for your wish list and your radar, and Jotunnslayer Hordes of Hel just released into early access yesterday on Steam. Now, I put this on your radar before, so I wanted to circle back. It currently has a 93% on Steam. It's on sale for $8.99. So if you like action roguelike horde survivor type games, this one seems off to a very good start. So just to recap, we got another GTA 6 Trailer 2 theory, and it lines up with one of my theories. The DMZ is allegedly coming back in Call of Duty 2026. Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay is apparently really impressing folks. Folks that went in as skeptics are coming out praising it. Doom the Dark Ages is allegedly launching in May, and the Horizon MMO is apparently not been canceled. That's the news. Now it's time for the discussion. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. We received some feedback that you guys wanted shorter show opens, and buddy, I just flew through a mountain of news for us to discuss. We can obviously look at more extensive looks of trailers or articles or updates or things that I covered if you guys would like. We're probably going to get a ton of people in here curious about the GTA 6 trailer too. I think this is one of the better theories because, again, it doesn't just line up with my own theory. It lines up with when they announced the release date of GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. The pattern seems to be right around the end of January, early February is when they like to do that, and that's probably because of the earnings calls. So we may be staring down the barrel, finally, of the GTA 6 release date, because they're going to want to get that out in the open before their earnings call. I think it'll help their earnings call. So let me just thank a couple of people who are already supporting Amskin on his birthday. Han shot first, and so did you. Amskin sort of setting the stage, and then Joker Quinn does one as well, and there we go, 125, off to a nice start. We are a little behind this week. If you guys want to see Madam continue her journey through Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, the first game, on Friday night, we are continuing to do that as a member incentive each week, and it has been a hilarious stream. If you guys have missed those members, you can always go back and watch them. And make sure you're going through the ritual, man. Smash that like button. We already have our first 100 likes, so let's set our sights on 200. And Doom, give me that ASAP. I mean, if Doom's coming out in May, and the one rumor was that South of Midnight would be hitting in March, we could be staring at a very, very strong start to the year for Xbox. Now, again, we had a big discussion yesterday about Avowed. We don't need to revisit why I'm skeptical about Avowed. But I think South of Midnight looks great, and I think Doom the Dark Ages looks great. Yo, Butters comes back with a VIP for 38 months on GTA 6. Do you think that GTA 6 will require DLSS to hit 60 on the PC release? I know it's coming later than console, but still interested in your take. Thank you, Butters. That's an Agents of Chaos pushing us past. What do you mean, GTA 6? There's a theory about the next trailer, and I actually think it's a pretty good theory. Now we're on our way to 150. At 150 members, I'll owe you guys some more. And Cisco jumps back in with the membership and a red badge. Cisco, if you're paying for your own membership, you want to get off the $5 and onto the $6 tier so that you get into all the extra content. It's the only way I can separate gifteds from those who are paying. Here's my thoughts on that, Butters. Digital Foundry did a breakdown of the GTA 6 trailer that was made available on Bilibili, and it was a high-definition version of the trailer. And they said that you saw more of the game-rendering gremlins that made them think it was a lot more believable. Basically, a lot of their skepticism and a lot of their doubt about gameplay, a lot of their concerns about, would this even be possible? A lot of that subsided in their most recent video. I don't know if it's their most recent video. In a recent video where they broke down the GTA 6 trailer that was like high def. And they basically said, okay, yeah, this is more believable. This could totally run on consoles. Given that reality, I don't think GTA 6 is going to have any issue on PC when it finally shows up. So the current theory, Davey Man, is that GTA 6 Trailer 2 will be landing on January the 30th. Now, this is based on a handful of things. Number one, Rockstar released an image with a bunch of numbers on it, and people know that they like to troll us with numbers. The last time they trolled us with numbers, it was just because they were doing some big sale on the 27th. This is a little bit different, and here's why. The 30th of January is a very, very similar time window for when they announced the release dates of GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. So GTA 5 was on January the 31st, and Red Dead Redemption was on February the 1st. Eerily similar, I think, because that's right before they do their earnings calls. So the Take-Two earnings call is on February the 6th. So I don't think it's a coincidence that their last two big releases announced their release dates right before their February earnings call. I think we may be in the pipeline for a very, very similar result. I myself theorized that Take-Two would want the GTA 6 Trailer 2 landing before the earnings call to really re-emphasize this thing's coming this year. Just last November, they re-emphasized that no, it's on pace, it's coming fall of 2025. And given that the last two big releases, that's when they announced their release date, I think this is a solid theory. The last couple theories that have come out, I've not given them much credence. And the Cisco upgrades to Member Plus, that counts as 2 members. Anytime you guys upgrade to Plus or VIP, I count it as 2. We're trying to get more and more people to do that. That's a big, big need of the channel. This channel is able to do full-time broadcasting and uploads because of supporters like yourself. We do not live off of the ad revenue. We are not a channel that can do that. I do this full-time. I support my family, and it's possible because of people that step up and do that. So many of you, thousands of you every month are on a gifted, and I get that a lot of you need that. If you don't need to be on the gifted, man, jump in and pick up your own membership. It is a huge help. You think $6 isn't much, but buddy, does it add up when a bunch of you do it. A 30-second Super Bowl commercial for GTA 6 would cost $7 million based off of last year. I know that isn't much of a cost to a big publisher. I wonder if they would even bother doing that, though, Hal, because they can put the trailer out on YouTube and Twitter and get millions upon millions of views, and they don't spend a dime to do that. Like, if you go look at the GTA 6 trailer right now on their YouTube account, it has 235 million views. They didn't pay a dime to the NFL to get that level of viewership on a 2-minute long video. So I don't know if they would want to pay for a 30-second spot at the Super Bowl. I know the Super Bowl's viewership is insane, but they can absolutely get bigger and farther reach of viewership just by posting the trailer on Twitter and YouTube. And I also think that my theory might have been wrong. I thought if they trot out the second trailer, if GTA 6 Trailer 2 lands late January, I thought we won't get a release date. We won't get a release date. What they'll do is they'll simply say fall of 2025. They'll re-emphasize fall of 2025. I think the most recent theory makes me second guess that. It really, really makes me second guess that because they announced their last two big games. The release dates were literally announced on that timeline. And we've heard recently from gameplay leaks. You see how this stuff's happening right here? Like these street races and these car wrecks, okay? This is the stuff that's going to be dynamically happening in the game. So this kind of stuff here, you'll notice that this is not like a cinematic. This looks in-engine, and you've got cars swerving and a cop car stopping, and a police officer is going to be getting out to check out the wreck. Then you got these guys doing their thing, and look, it's disrupting traffic, right? And the police and the civilians are seemingly reacting. This guy even looks like he might be recording on his cell phone. This is stuff we've heard from the gameplay leaks about how there's going to be dynamic things that happen on the map while you're out and about. Maximo with 20 months, welcome back, and that adds to the total, and that gets us to 129. You guys are going to need to band together to get to the 500 this week. Wouldn't it be good to have planes and banners flying over the stadiums? Those planes are the part of GTA from the PS2 era. I'm not saying that it couldn't be awesome. I'm just questioning whether or not Rockstar would want to spend that kind of money. Now, for a game like this, I would imagine the marketing budget's pretty dadgum big. And for a company this size and a game that's going to generate this much revenue, you could be right. I think a Super Bowl commercial would be a good play because that's a good target audience for them. Mile High bumps the line to 130, maybe tempting the first 20 bomb of the week. We haven't seen a 20 bomb yet. 20 bomb to 150. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. Thank you, Mile High. Lono, still sitting on that GTA trailer. Guess I have to re-up another month while I wait. Mile High. There's other things going on. So if you members or longtime viewers are like, here we go again with GTA. Listen, you can submit questions with the question command, asking about anything else going on in the news. The Horizon MMO was allegedly not canceled. We have an alleged date for Doom the Dark Ages. We have Phantom Blade Zero trailer to react to that I've already given you some of my thoughts on. Assassin's Creed Shadows previews are looking promising. And then Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Well, Call of Duty 2026 will allegedly have DMZ and raids. And Mile High gifts a member in addition to re-upping and bumps the line by 1. Thank you so much, Mile High, for inching us a little bit closer to the next big goal. Why spend that money, though? Well, here's the question, Alfonso. If they've budgeted the money, they're going to want to spend it as best they can. Subscribed. I appreciate your content. Thank you. Companies of this size, they budget the money, homie. They budget the marketing dollars. Let's all do the things, boys. Coffee incoming. Thank you, Mile High, for renewing, gifting, super chatting, and then ordering coffee. Apparently, that's more than the trifecta. That's a quad bomb, man. That's so much support. Thank you so much. I should probably put the coffee in the screen. We're still selling our holiday blend at a discount. We're still selling our bundles at a discount, and that is not a sponsor. That's mine. I am not working with some company and getting a kickback. My wife and kiddos ship this to you. You're basically supporting a small business when you order the coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, try it out. The light roast and the dark roast are great introductory flavors to what we have, as well as the fact that they're balanced and low acidic coffee. If you've never had low acidity or balanced acidity coffee, you should try it. US gamers know that a new GTA is coming, but Rockstar needs to also reach offline normies, and normies watch the Super Bowl. I think that's a well-made point. I think there is a pretty large audience. Yo, what's good, Gabriel? There's a large audience that'll be watching the Super Bowl that'll be like, oh, no way, I heard a new GTA was coming. Especially if they can do a... If they do a Super Bowl commercial, I will say this. It would be most effective if it had a release date. I think that would be the most effective because I don't necessarily think that you would want to just like show up to the Super Bowl, spend that amount of money, just be like, oh yeah, GTA 6 is coming. I'm like, well, when? That consumer is going to be maybe less likely to scramble to like Twitter, Google, and YouTube to figure out the release date. If they're going to pay for the marketing, you know, the marketing spend to land during a Super Bowl, I would imagine they would want to spend that money if they have a release date ready at that point in time. I could be wrong, but that would be my prediction. That if you're going to spend that kind of money, if you're going to push for that kind of presence, I think you would want to have a release date, maybe a live action trailer. Have they done live action trailers before? Oh, you're making a joke. That's Houston Daily. Okay, I was going to say, do they have a history of doing live action trailers? I don't actually know. Every year we have seen this discussion about Super Bowls. It's not going to happen. Video games never show up at the Super Bowl. Way too expensive. Didn't Ragnarok do something? Am I imagining things? I thought they did something at the Super Bowl with God of War. I thought they did. Maybe I'm misremembering. It would be a first for Rockstar, says Jake, but I'm going with what they've done in the past, and that's nothing during the Super Bowl. That's my initial thought, Jake, is that GTA 6... Trailer 2 lands on their own. And yo, Bill Longpre re-ups. I'm going to check. Is that a re-up or an upgrade, Bill? If you guys upgrade to Member Plus, you need to let me know. I count those as double. If you upgrade to Member Plus or you upgrade to VIP, I count that as a double in the weekly count. I'm going to check right now, Bill. It says you've been on that level for 2 months. Okay, so no, that's an upgrade. Welcome back, Bill. Let me add you to the total. That's 132 on the week. Thank you, everybody who continues to re-up. Hit that $ at the bottom of the chat and see if you have a re-up available and upgrade as well. That counts as well. That's a great way to help out with the total every single week. I remember they did the God of War Ascension. That was a long time ago. Let's go Buffalo. My sister's a huge Bills fan, so she's probably pumped. Who's got bets on 11/11/25? Oh, you think that's the release date? 11/11/25? Kingslayer says, I'm still banking on Borderlands between May and July. Just a gut feeling. I think Borderlands is going to be later in the year. Let's see. 11/11. That's a Tuesday. 11/11 is a good release date this year. It's memorable. It looks cool. It's a Tuesday. We know studios like to release games on Tuesdays. Exactly. No money in NCSoft cancels game not belonging to PlayStation. Eugene says, I'm tired of the defense of people whose job it is to report facts, not checking the facts. There's no excuses. They didn't do their effing job. A simple email. Couldn't be bothered to send an email. Why defend that? Right. Like, I don't have the ability to do that, but the press certainly does. The press certainly has the ability to reach out to these organizations and have contacts to say, hey, has this game been canceled? You know, even a PlayStation spokesperson could have maybe been reached out to. Now, I will say this, Eugene. Anybody who reported on the Horizon MMO being canceled, if they end their article by saying, we've reached out for comment, I feel like that's fair. You've got to report on it and say, it is claimed that this has happened. We've reached out for comment. If they're letting you know, hey, this is being claimed right now. We don't know if it's real or not. We've reached out for comment. I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's a perfectly legitimate way to report. If they made their headlines like, oh, nope, it's been canceled, then that's the end of it. Then no, they've not done their due diligence. So I believe the standard for gaming journalism just needs to be elevated a little bit, and I think there are outlets that do it. I believe Insider Gaming has been the most consistent. Ragnarok was at the Super Bowl over a year after it released. Right, and we thought that meant that, like, God of War Ragnarok was getting DLC or something. If you guys are just tuning in, there's a variety of gaming topics swirling right now. GTA 6 Trailer 2, a solid theory about when it's coming. We're also talking about the Horizon MMO that was allegedly canceled, but now apparently it has not been canceled, and a whole host of other news stories. If you want to know what's going on, hit subscribe. You can talk in my chat once you hit subscribe, and ask us what's going on. We'll gladly help you out. Home in the Snow, good to see you, Jason F. And if you want to support this video, the easiest way to do it is to smash like. Let's try to get to 200 likes. I shortened the show open. It was like, I think 6 minutes this morning. It was between 5 and 6 minutes. We're trying to shorten that show open. Ordinarily, there was a time where I would still be reading through my monologue. We have stripped that down so I get to interact with you guys more. If you appreciate that, show that appreciation by smashing that like button. What's good, Abyss? How are you? Everyone who watches the games sees the refs cheat for the Chiefs. Oh, stop it. MMO has been canceled, but this is not the live service Horizon game. No, Ray, you're confusing things. Okay, you're correct, but you're also not correct. Okay, let's just get this straight. It can get confusing. In your defense, it can get confusing. Okay, first and foremost, there's an MMO being made by NCSoft. There's a co-op multiplayer game being built by Guerrilla. They are not the same, okay? So let's take the co-op game from Guerrilla off the table and just talk about the MMO. It was claimed yesterday that the MMO made by NCSoft had been canceled by NCSoft. We are now having that retracted, and the claim is it has not been canceled, and there's even still a job posting for the NCSoft MMO. That's what's been reported and then since has been updated. Now you are completely up to date on the situation. This is typical of modern media. They rush to be the first to report something, says Corey. Whether or not they are right is secondary. Cannot convince me this was not a desperate attempt to expand on the PlayStation canceled game story. Well, but Corey, it did seem to hit on that note. You can't say that it didn't seem coincidental. I thought it was an odd thing to suddenly have happen. I thought, here we go, Concord effect in full swing. In the wake of these live service games getting canceled, NCSoft is suddenly shutting down another game as well, right? It seemed to line up. I don't think there was some grand conspiracy here. There's no claim that the Horizon game was canceled. They made that up. The initial report never mentioned the Horizon game. No, they said Project H had disappeared. No, Eugene. I researched this. They said that Project H had vanished from the page. That signals a cancel. Project H is what Project Skyline was originally referred to as. So they made the logical connection of like, Project H is gone, so they must have canceled it. It's not on their page anymore. They also connected this to the fact that NCSoft's not in a great place financially, and tightening their belt and canceling projects is, again, a logical thing to think is going on. I don't think this was a bunch of sensationalist journalism about like, oh yeah, it's been canceled. Again, it depends on how they framed their articles, wrote them, and if they did reach out for comment. If they didn't reach out for comment and they stated it as if it's a fact, then you're correct. But if they say, it's been claimed to be canceled, we're reaching out for comment, I think that that's totally fine. All assumptions? There's no reason anybody should have thought, oh, hey, they must have been another Project H game that they've been working on. Right. As this story has been, okay, all assumptions. Okay, well, let's just talk about this then. This has never been formally announced. So we're basing everything off of already leaked information. Project H leaks, Project Skyline leaks, and then this thing, they see Project H has disappeared. It's like it's been canceled. So everybody runs with, it looks like Project H has been canceled. That's the Horizon MMO. To suddenly come back and be like, oh no, that's a different project. Well, that's confusing. Why would you have projects with the same letters? That's why it gets confusing when they use code names. It's like, well, did it get canceled or did it just change names? Like, did Project H drop off this page that they were looking at because it's now being referred to as Project Skyline? I don't know. In any case, I don't think that this is cause for like tons of criticism. Yo, Chili Noten with the brand's new member. I'm going to let you double dip, Chili. If you guys want to support the channel directly, click join just like Chili just did, but you want to pick Member Plus. Member Plus is the full membership. You get into all of the extra content and you get into the green room, right? When you're at the $5 membership, I can't tell the difference between you and a gifted, so next month I can't count your re-up. You want to be at Member Plus or VIP, I will let you double dip. When somebody clicks that, you can now re-up and count it as a double. I let people do that because I know it's unclear. YouTube doesn't make it super clear. Even in the reporter's clarification, they say, that's not the H I was talking about. Right, like, come on. Project H has been canceled. Oh, well, that's what the Horizon MMO was referred to as. They're like, oh, no, different Project H. Different Abby. Like, come on. They didn't bother to reach out to the source for clarity. That's inexcusable and indefensible. But what are they supposed to do? Not report it? Who are these they? Who are these they that you're talking about? Horizon MMO canceled. Let's look at the headlines. Let's look at the headlines here. Horizon MMO allegedly canceled. Horizon MMO allegedly canceled. Horizon MMO reportedly canceled. Horizon MMO has reportedly been canceled. PlayStation's Horizon MMO reportedly canceled. Reportedly canceled. Reportedly canceled. Reportedly canceled. Everybody used the correct verbiage. They're saying this is alleged. It's reportedly canceled. We don't know. That's what they're supposed to do. The news broke and they're all using the same headlines. Look, here's another page. Reportedly dead. Reportedly canceled. Reportedly canceled. Reportedly been canceled. MMO in the universe of Horizon Games is likely canceled. Reportedly canceled. May have been canceled. This is exactly how they're supposed to do this. What are they supposed to do? Not jump on the story and get the ad revenue? They're couching it correctly. These people should be ignored. So every single gaming outlet that saw this being claimed, reported that it's being claimed, they shouldn't have done that. Their job is to find the truth? No, their job is to report on what's been going on. You're talking about investigative journalism. That's not what these people do. They're simply telling us this has been claimed in the gaming world. This has been claimed in the gaming world. There's nothing wrong with Insider Gaming or any of these outlets saying We got somebody claiming this. We literally are doing that all of the time with release dates, with trailers, with mechanics. It's been claimed that Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to have exploration elements and material finding. Okay, should they not report on that until they can concretely prove that it's true? Yeah, they're not detectives. They're just telling you this is being claimed right now. The original report didn't claim it. It claimed that Project H had been canceled. That's what the MMO was referred to as up to this point. Street Shadow says, I think the news outlets did the right headlines. I think it's more on the grifters and the anti-Sony crowd are the ones who are in the wrong here. But they will not backtrack. I think Street Shadow's got it right. You need to aim your weapon at the right target, at the right enemy. The enemy is not an outlet like Insider Gaming that has to live and die by click rate. At least they have the integrity to say, this is alleged, this has been reported, this has been claimed. That puts them in the clear. If the reader doesn't have the deductive abilities to see, well, this has been claimed, it might not be true, then that's on the reader. Phantom Blade Zero gameplay trailer makes the nonsense go away. I mean, I don't know about that. It looks great, but it's a PlayStation published game through the China Hero project and will likely be a PC PlayStation simultaneous release. At least Lost Soul Aside's doing that. I don't know if Phantom Blade Zero's day and date on PC or not. I don't think that makes it go away. I mean, it's not a PlayStation studio. It's a PlayStation published game. Barrier says, quote, the decision to stop development of Pantera H and J was made at the end of last year, and at the beginning of the year, the development team members were reportedly notified to prepare. Like, how are we supposed to read that and be like, oh yeah, we need to make sure and reach out before we type up anything? A forum user shouldn't be the ones asking, is this the Horizon game? It wasn't a forum user, it was a reporter. It was a Korean reporter that said this. They reached out to the Korean reporter, and then the Korean reporter was like, oh no, it's a different project. Some rando had more thoughts than some of these outlets, but we don't know if the outlets tried to reach out. We also don't know, Eugene, not every outlet has a Rolodex of every reporter in the world. It's not like they could be like, let's see here. Yes, here, random Korean reporter right here, I can email them. Like, they don't necessarily have a contact with the person that said this. It was in the original report multiple times, says Barrier. It was a forum user who reached out to the reporter. Right, because they probably were using the forum and maybe they spoke the language. Like, all these English-speaking persons that are writing for these outlets might not even had a way to reach out. Like, what are they going to type? Anyong, Autogage SAO, and then that's all they can say. And then how are you going to find out if this is real or not? By the way, if you're tuning in for the GTA 6 Trailer 2 info, that was in the show open. I've continued to discuss it. There's a current theory about when that trailer will land, January the 30th, which lines up with my own theory about the GTA 6 Trailer 2 will come before the Take-Two earnings call. Now, the reason that this theory has some merit, the numbers on the latest thing that Rockstar published add up to 30, and their last two big games, GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, announced their release dates on January the 31st and February the 1st. They seemingly like that window of time for release date announcements, probably because it's right before their earnings call. That tracks with my theory. We've got some coalescence of theories as well as a pattern from Rockstar, so we could be looking at that trailer next week along with a release date announcement. So, yeah, with the Horizon MMO thing, I think you're misfiring, Eugene. I get the frustration. I do, because the minute it happens, all the grifters grab it and say, Sony's dead, Sony's stupid, Sony sucks. And it's like, well, it was NCSoft, and according to the report, they went through feasibility tests. That has nothing to do with PlayStation. Mick Pratt with 20 months. I mean, even I kind of misfired. I tweeted, and I was like, yeah, I guess this is the year that PlayStation's canceling more games than releasing games. You know, because that's what it looks like right now. It's like, man, oh man, is it every other day something's getting canceled? Like, I get the response to be like, yeah, here we go again, and then everybody runs with this bombastic narrative that Sony's in trouble. But all the outlets that reported on this did exactly what they're supposed to do. There is a claim being made in the market by a person who seemingly has viable information, a Korean reporter, and they type up a headline: "The Horizon MMO has allegedly been canceled." That is completely legitimate. They are allowed to do that before they send an email. They are not some investigative journalist outfit. They're just telling you this is happening. Here's a new character coming in Marvel Rivals. There's a leak of first-person mode coming to Fortnite. This Korean reporter said on this forum that the Horizon MMO has been canceled. We've reached out for comment. If you expect these outlets to not publish something until they get a response, you're basically asking them to commit career death. Self-inflicted death. Like, well, we'll just wait. They didn't allege it was the Horizon MMO. They alleged that it was Project H. Up to now, Project H was the Horizon MMO. There's logic to this. This wasn't overtly presumptive. They didn't say, well, Project H means Horizon. It was, no, this was formally reported to be the Horizon MMO. That's logical. There's nothing wrong with that. Someone should have probably reached out for clarification, but absolutely no one is in the wrong for assuming it was the Horizon MMO. We had previous reports that indicated Project Skyline was referred to as Project H. I don't think anybody misstepped here. Somebody wasn't like, well, H is the first letter in Horizon, so clearly they canceled it. It wasn't that level of presumptiveness. PlayStation has had a mountain of games over the years. They're fine. They literally only need one other game this year to go out with Yote and Death Stranding. I think they have a second half of the year surprise. I just don't think they want to announce anything until we know the GTA 6 release date. I think it's the Venom game. My gut. I got a gut feeling that they scrapped DLC for Spider-Man 2 and made a Venom game. It'll be $40 or $50, and it'll be a summer surprise with a release date in the second half. I think they're waiting for GTA 6's release date. I think a lot of people are waiting for the GTA 6 release date. Like, the first half of 2025 is busting at the seams. It's just busting at the seams. Like, I think right now, beyond the summer, nobody's going to say anything until we get our GTA 6 release date, which the Take-Two earnings call is putting pressure on that. It's putting pressure on that. That's why I think the GTA 6 trailer 2, I think that the 30th, the theory about it landing on January the 30th, I think is solid. I do. I expect them to report, but then in turn, I expect them to make corrections. Listen, if there is somebody that would like to be first in line to eviscerate gaming journalism after what they did to me in 2020 and the malpractice and the egregious treatment of claims, I'm the first in line, buddy. I am the first in line. I wish Tommy Hendy's outfit was around back then, because I think they would have handled that situation a whole lot better, right? This situation, I don't think they did anything wrong. It's like, you had somebody claim something. This is the project name. Up to now, that's the project. Up to now, Project H, I'll give you an example. We knew that Assassin's Creed Shadows was called AC Red. Why? Ubisoft told us. Okay. Once they unveil the name AC Shadows, if they privately use AC Red again as a new code name, and somebody reports that AC Red has been delayed or canceled, and someone's like, well, I guess AC Shadows is getting delayed or canceled, they're not wrong in thinking that that code name still applies. Until we have new information, we go on the information that we have. And the information that we've had up until this very day, Project H referred to the Horizon MMO. From what I find, it hasn't been Project H for over a year. It was Project H and then it became Skyline. Right. But Eugene, in the example I just gave with AC Red and Shadows, how many studios do that? How many studios are reusing code names? That's confusing as frick. Codename H. All right, well, now that we're calling it Skyline, let's reuse Codename H. That won't be logistically confusing at all. That won't be confusing. Like, what? Yeah, we're now calling it Project Skyline, so now you guys can use Project H. But I thought I was working on Project H. Oh, no. That's now Project Skyline. You're no longer working on Project H. They're working on Project H. But we just were Project H. Like, that's confusing. All of which was reported? Right, but you don't know if internal documentation can continue to use filler. Like, the internal documentation doesn't exactly adapt quickly in some of these institutions. Somebody might be using, Project H mistakenly. They're like, oh yeah, we've been calling it Project H. Like, we still call it Twitter, for crying out loud. There's only 26 letters? No, you can add numbers. What do you mean? You could add other letters. You could do Project H, HX, Project H7. You don't have to use just the letters. The game was referred to in job listings and LinkedIn profiles as Project H (Skyline). Yeah, they continue to use it. Can I get the Project H files? Which one? Crap. We should have paid for another project name. You can use other letters. That's a terrible code name system, by the way, if you're always recycling letters. People are coming in probably looking for GTA 6, and they're like, why are you guys talking about this? If you hit subscribe, you can talk in my chat. If you become a member, you can submit questions. We are 8 likes away from 200 likes. Thanks for the first 200 likes on the video, guys. Keep smashing like. If you've never done a membership on a YouTube channel before, consider clicking the join button. Make sure when you do that, though, pick Member Plus for $6. That gets you into all the content. It's $1 difference, but then it differentiates you from the gifted pool of members. Corey says, again, the rush to be first supplants the need to be right. Allowing game media the ability to rush news out the door to be first is how misinformation starts, because they then hide. No. This is not a case of misinformation. They accurately reported what had been claimed. If the Korean reporter had specified this is a new Project H, then we wouldn't be here. If they're reusing code names, you cannot expect the gaming press to frickin' know that. You cannot. That is an unreasonable expectation to expect. Tom Henderson and Insider Gaming. I respect that outfit. I like Tom. I like their level of integrity in reporting. I respect them as an outfit. I respect Tom. I don't expect Tom Henderson and his outfit to know that, that group, NCSoft, they reuse project code letters. So we can't run this until we double check if that's the same Project H. That's absurd as an expectation. Your expectations have to be in line with reality. A claim was made from a reporter. A project letter that we'd already heard about that was still being used on LinkedIn profiles has allegedly been canceled. There you go. That's your report. That's accurate. And now they're all correcting it. They're like, well, no, the Korean reporter's coming back and saying it's a different Project H. Okay, there you go. There's nothing wrong with that reporting whatsoever. A little due diligence wouldn't hurt. In an era of the instantaneousness of information transformation, due diligence is death sometimes. They have to put out the report and say, listen, we're looking into this. Plenty of people have done this. They'll report, hey, this has been claimed. We're reaching out for comment. We're trying to figure out what's going on. There's nothing wrong with that. Heck says, guys, this is Lono. If this had been a true example of shady, misleading reporting, he'd be the first to call it out. Yeah, especially because you guys know that I like the Horizon IP. You know that I like PlayStation. I'd be the first in line to eviscerate the press because they deserve it sometimes. That's not what happened this time. Is that not called doing your job? They are doing their job. Their job is to tell you what's going on. The measure to which you believe them or go back to them is based on the accuracy of what they tell you. What they told you in the moment was accurate. Up until this moment in time, Project H was the Horizon MMO. This Korean reporter is saying that Project H has been canceled. So we have an alleged cancellation of a project. That is fine. No foul. Nothing unethical. nothing immoral, nothing dishonest, nothing shady about that at all. It's not shady. When they come back and they say it's been corrected, it's not actually been canceled, they're again doing their job. They're doing their job. They're like, yeah, this is not been canceled. We're updating you. We're keeping you abreast of the situation. Pause, breast, huh? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not unreasonable to expect gaming media with access to the game industry to fact check a rumor. Again, I think people want right, not instant info. No, I think you're incorrect. Again, this is a Korean reporter saying these projects have been canceled. NCSoft's been doing some shakeups because of their financial situation. It's them failing to do a basic fact check? No, it's not. Within 24 hours, they're correcting the information. It's incompetence at best. Okay, so let's walk through here. Let's walk through, Eugene. So what they should have done, not reported it, reached out to the Korean reporter with suspicion for no reason other than your hindsight of 2020. They should have thought, hang on a minute, what if it's not the same Project H? That suspicion is unwarranted at that point in time. You are retroactively, with 2020 vision and hindsight, saying they should have been suspicious of Project H because you didn't know they reused the project names. Were you in here yesterday saying that, Eugene? Were you saying, oh yeah, NCSoft commonly reuses project letters, so we shouldn't be taking this to mean that the Horizon game has been canceled? Nobody knew that they do that. Expecting an outlet to have that suspicion is unreasonable. Now that they know, like, how, exactly, Giovanni, how would they even know to question it? Hang on, stop the presses, pump the brakes. What if they reuse the project letter? What if they reuse the project letter? Why would they have that suspicion to begin with? I didn't suspect it yesterday. You didn't suspect it yesterday. None of us thought, oh, maybe it's a different Project H. None of us thought that. I've been reporting on leaks, code names, game press releases, game announcements for 10 years. I don't think I've ever had anybody say, we reuse the project's names. We reuse the project letters. Sorry, everybody. Sorry for the confusion. I've never had this happen before. We've had countless code names come out, and countless code names end up switching or getting canceled or delayed. I've never had somebody say, oh, sorry, everybody, we reused the same code name. There was no grounds for the suspicion that you're asserting as an imperative. You're asserting as an imperative that they should have been suspicious of the claim and should have fact-checked, wait, is that the same Project H? I think that's unfounded. I don't think there was any reason for them to be suspicious about the project letter. There was no reason to be suspicious. They did their job. They said, this is alleged. This is being claimed. We're going to have to wait for official word. We're going to reach out, whatever the case may be. I don't know what outlets reached out for official word or not. You'd have to go and check. There was no grounds, and why did a random user think to reach out? Because it was claimed, and you always press on claims, but there's nothing wrong with reporting on the claims. That's why I was so frustrated with what happened to me, Eugene. Okay, people made claims. It's okay to press on the claims. It is. It's okay to be like, okay, is there any validity to this? Is there anything official? Has NCSoft said anything? Those are all legitimate things to do in the wake of the reporting. There's nothing wrong with saying it is being claimed. That's allowed. You're acting like that's not allowed. They're not allowed the type of a report that says it's being claimed. That's literally all they did. What game is Lola talking about? The Horizon MMO was allegedly canceled, and now we're hearing that it has not been canceled. I like the Phantom Blade Zero trailer, Phil Bosch. It apparently is not a Souls game, so it's not going to have, like, enemies respawning at checkpoints, enemies respawning when you die. It will have difficulty settings. It's going to be more combo-focused, more action-focused. I think it looks incredible. By the way, if you're tuning in for GTA 6 Trailer 2 information. There's a brand new theory. I think the theory is sound. They're saying January 30th. It's based on a Rockstar image where the numbers add up to 30. And I was like, okay, that's a little flimsy. However, it's not flimsy when you look at the pattern of GTA 5 had its release date announced on January 31st. Red Dead Redemption 2 had its release date announced on February 1st. Very close together. Why? Probably in relation to the Take-Two earnings call that happens around that time. The Take-Two earnings call is on February the 6th. I theorized they would want to get this trailer out a week or two before that earnings call. So it is very likely, we get a GTA 6 release date inside of the GTA 6 trailer 2 next week on the 30th. I think it's pretty good. That's standard journalism? What standard journalism, Yenid? Are you agreeing with me? Eugene's World would make doing Lono's job really hard. Right, like, I guess I'm curious, why are you holding them to a standard? You're not holding me to that standard. I was like, yeah, this is being claimed. We'll have to wait for official word. If they had said, it's been reported Project 8 has been canceled, we believe Project 8 was the Horizon game, I'd have less of a problem. Why would they have to say we believe when up to this point it was concretely established that Project H was Project Skyline, which was the Horizon MMO? We have an established, corroborated piece of empirical evidence that that's what it was. Why should they be skeptical of that still being Project H? Why would that skepticism rise in their brain? The fall release date is too far from the Super Bowl in Feb. James Pitts, you need to flesh that out for me. What are you trying to communicate? I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Endeavor says agreed. The release date needs to be for the investors Q1. We talk about the news. Okay, so you're saying you're not a journalist. So from your perspective, I'm trying to get my chair in the right spot. There we go. So from your perspective, Eugene, a journalist should never report on claims, or well, I guess that's not what you're saying. You're saying there should have been, if I steelman your argument, you're saying as a journalist, they should have maintained a healthy amount of skepticism that would have made them question if this was the same Project H. I find that to be flimsy. I don't find that to be very compelling. I don't agree that they should have thought, well, maybe it's a different Project H. I don't get why anybody would think that. There's nothing in my brain said, because you know me, I'm skeptical of claims, right? After the life I've lived, I'm very skeptical of claims. I like evidence. I like evidence a whole lot more than claims. So, but nothing in my brain fired and thought, well, maybe they reused the project letters. I didn't even think that once. I've been covering games for a decade. For a fourth of my life, I've covered the games industry, and I never thought, well, maybe they reused the project letters. Maybe it's a different project. I never once thought that could be a possibility. What's next for Insomniac Games? Get to know Insomniac's new studio co-heads. Oh, that's a PlayStation blog? Before we get into offering our perspectives, Ted's retiring. Ted Price is retiring from Insomniac Games. And he's got studio co-head stepping in. You know what's interesting is this is twice now. Three studio co-heads. You know what that tells me? This really, really communicates something to me. That a lot of my theories about these studios working on multiple projects at once instead of just one big project, that makes perfectly good sense. You'd have 3 studio co-heads and they would kind of all be spearheading the various efforts. You'd have one sort of over Wolverine. You'd have one sort of over Spider-Man 3. You'd have one sort of over, whatever the heck else they're working on. I wonder if that kind of supports what I've theorized we're going to start to see from these studios under PlayStation, that instead of putting everybody on one project, they're going to start splitting up and doing, more, not parallel development, but independent projects of each other. We shouldn't be finding out the truth because of a random reaching out to the reporter. Right, but did they have the ability to reach out to the reporter, Eugene? You said that before, and I've already addressed that. Did any of these outlets have the ability to reach out to a Korean reporter? Do they have their contact information? Do they have an adequate way to speak to a person who may not speak English? Have you talked about GTA's price? Matty J, I didn't break that story, but I was one of the first people to report on it. That report made landfall last week on Friday. One outlet, I think, had the report. I went and looked at the presentation, and I put it into my show open on Friday. I covered it again on Monday because more and more people started reporting on it. So that's a great reason to subscribe here. So the GTA 6 price debate, that was an analyst who was basically telling the gaming world, if you're trying to make more money, this is one of the ways that we're going to have to squeeze more revenue out of the industry, raising game prices. And he said he was hopeful that GTA 6 would land at 80 or 100 because that would open the door for other studios to also charge more money. Now, I have said I do not think Rockstar will do that for a variety of reasons. Number one, it would become a fixation point within the market. Everybody would just be talking about the price instead of the game. That's distracting for your marketing. Number two, they don't need to. They can sell premium editions for 80. They could sell early access, platinum editions for 100. And millions of people would buy the $80 or the $100 version, and then everybody else would buy the $70. So you can maximize revenue without raising base level pricing. Third reason, they want as many people in this game as possible because that has a direct correlative relationship to how many people end up in GTA 6 Online. GTA 6 Online stands to be their next monumental cash cow, and the last thing that Rockstar wants to do is disrupt that funnel and that runway. So those are my three reasons why I do not think GTA 6 will be at $100 or $80. I think that they will have plenty of additions at that price, but they're more focused on maximizing market saturation, getting people into GTA Online, and raising the base price would be a disruption of that. I put a marker on that if you're in earshot, creature. That might be a solid short. Good point. I didn't think about the special editions, and they make a lot of shark cards. That's exactly right. Their monetization structure, Matty J, their monetization structure doesn't line up with saying, well, yeah, the game's now $100. They can get more money. Think of it this way. It's somewhat analogous to when a game is free on mobile, micro spending skyrockets. This is similar. If you come out at the industry standard level of pricing, all your additive spending, whether premium, platinum edition, shark cards, whatever, that will likely see an increase. If you raise base price to $80 or $100, you potentially work against the spending, the micro spending. You potentially are, because you've disrupted player expectations. They're like, well, I spent $100 to get in this game. I don't know if I'm going to spend the micros. Like, you could actually potentially slow down microtransaction percentages. Looking at their backgrounds, Fuzzy says they're also bringing varied backgrounds. One's a gamer, one's a finance guy. The third seems to be like a team leader. One focuses on the product, one focuses on the shareholders, the other focuses on the devs. Yeah, it is interesting that they continue to replace people with multi-person roles. They did it with they did it with old Jimbo Ryan, and now seemingly they're doing it with the Insomniac CEO. It seems like they're taking a divide and conquer strategy with leadership. Instead of saying, well, let's get another person to wear these 8 hats, they're like, well, let's split the 8 hats up between 3 people. Conjon Leprechaun says, I feel like the GTA 6 definitive edition would be around 100. I'm confident there will be $100 versions of the game. So Hey, if you guys are enjoying the banter, the conversation, it's about all sorts of different topics. We've been debating the Horizon MMO cancellation, which it hasn't been canceled allegedly. We've been talking and debating about game journalism standards. We've been talking about GTA 6 trailer 2. A lot to talk about and discuss, as well as alleged Doom the Dark Ages release date and other things. Smash the like button if you're enjoying the show. And hey, you can help us hit a big goal. If you've never done a membership before on YouTube, try it out for a month here. We have a Discord. You can connect with people to play games. I do extra segments just for members. I start the day in morning coffee. I end the day in the green room, and you get access to that. Make sure, if you click join, that you pick Member Plus for $6. I count those as doubles in the count, and you can help us hit a huge, huge goal. 2 orders of coffee came in, Mile High, the coffee right there. He ordered a best of both worlds. That's the light and the dark roast. And then somebody named Demetrius bagged some Frickmas. We're doing a sale on Frickmas. Thank you so much, Demetrius. Thank you guys so much for ordering the coffee. If you're a coffee drinker and you're like, well, I don't do memberships on YouTube, I don't spend money on YouTube, but you drink coffee, you can support the channel that way as well. And some of you guys prefer super chats, and you can super chat your goal and make me gift members as well. Why is GTA 6 trailer in the title? Because there's a brand new theory about the GTA 6 trailer 2 that I think is a pretty sound theory. There were 3 or 4 theories this month that I did not report on. I thought this one was sound. GTA 6 has been in the thumbnail for like a month. Hey, I've tried to put 1 or 2 days of buffer in between. It wasn't on yesterday, and then it was on the day before, and then it wasn't on before that, and then it was. I've been trying to take 1 or 2 days off, but everybody is holding their dadgum breath until we get the GTA 6 trailer 2 or the GTA 6 release date. What do you want me to do? They've got a stranglehold on the news cycle. There's nothing I can do about that, you know. And you can come and dictate what we talk about if you're a member or a contributor to the chat. If you're like, well, I'd rather talk about something else, then do it. I just debated Eugene for 25 minutes about the standards in gaming journalism and the Horizon MMO cancellation. Did I stop that from happening? With its initial codename being Project H, they knew. Eugene, you are not interacting with what I'm saying. I do not think that you have substantiated that they should have had a healthy amount of skepticism that Project H would have been reused as a project codename, largely because there were still people on LinkedIn and there were still job postings that had it listed as Project H, and then in parentheses, they would put Skyline. It was continued to be used in certain facets. You still have not substantiated why they should have assumed or had skepticism about the codename being recycled. That's the craziest part about it. You're tired of the GTA 6 talk? You're going to be miserable for the next 12 months after it drops? We like to spice things up here. We keep it varied. His email was at the bottom of this report. Okay. Again, there is absolutely nothing egregious about saying this has been claimed, we have reached out for comment. That is perfectly fine reporting. You know? You've been whoring out GTA 6, bro? I have? That's crazy that you can't talk here anymore. We're going to have to pay to see the GTA 6 trailer. Yeah, they're just going to frickin' charge money for it at this point. There really is no new GTA news. I didn't say there was new GTA news. Do you have the ability to read the description? You're typing in my chat and you're on YouTube. Are you intelligent enough to read the description of a video? If you read the description of the video, I'm not doing anything that's out of bounds. I'm not. There were plenty of people reporting on this. There's a solid theory in place. It's based on a pattern of when they announce release dates. Their earnings call is right around the corner. Like, if you don't have the ability to read the description of a video, that's on you. I put all the information right there. There's a brand new theory about the GTA 6 trailer 2. It lines up with my own theory. What do you want me to do? How dare I report on the biggest game of the last decade What do you want me to do? What would you rather talk about? Cooking Mama? Is there a mobile game that you really like? Bring up something else. We just hang out and talk here. You can talk about whatever you want. I don't stop you from bringing up other subjects. Rather than be a whiner, be a contributor. Just contribute. All you got to do is bring up something else. Eugene brought up the Horizon MMO, and I've debated him for 20 minutes. Some of you guys come in here and want to whine when all you got to do is ask a question or bring up something else. It isn't difficult. You're taking the time to type a gripe. Take the time to type a question. You're in control of the stream as much as I am. I've never once been like, no, guys, for the next 2 hours, we're only going to talk about GTA 6 theories. I've not done that. I'll engage you about any one of these subjects. Somebody came in and brought up Phantom Blade Zero. I engaged them. I told them that it's not a Souls-like. I told them that the enemies won't come back after you die or hit a checkpoint. You can bring up whatever you want. And members especially, you can use the question command. Here's the first question from Perfect Image. What was the date of the Red Dead Redemption release and the GTA 5 release date? Well, they announced them on January 31st and February 1st. And then GTA 5 released in September. And then Red Dead Redemption released in October. Right? So October and September, and they announced right at the end of January. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same pattern. I think we've got a similar pattern. They announced release dates for games landing in the fall, and they did it at the very end of January, right before the Take-Two earnings call. I think it's a solid theory. That's a solid theory. The number of GTA 6 things that I haven't run is a pretty high pile. There were plenty of things I did not run this month because I thought, there's nothing to that. When their Instagram thing was doing that again, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not solid. The game day one for me is Phantom Blade. It looks absolutely godlike. Yeah, I like the fluidity in combat. I especially like the speed with which the player is like blocking and parrying. I love it. I think it's great. It looks exactly like the kind of stuff that I like, especially knowing that it's not a Souls-like. Like, it'll clearly be challenging. Phantom Blade Zero will clearly be challenging, but it's not a Souls game, and I think that's a good thing. I think that is I think that's helpful in the realm of trying to launch a title like that. I think more and more people are kind of like, okay, if I want a Souls game, I'm gonna go buy a Souls game. You know, I don't need every game that comes out to land in the Souls lane, in the Souls vein. Rockstar releases games every 6 to 8 years now. I mean, Strauss Zelnick said their games almost always elevate from the previous game, and a lot of franchises don't do that. Maybe that's why, they take a long time. You think Rockstar will make up DLCs GTA 5 didn't have on story mode? They'll do it on GTA 6? I don't know, Machiavelli. I don't know. You're curious about performance UE5? What I saw reported about Phantom Blade Zero, Jake, is that it'll be in UE5, and they're pushing to make sure you get stable frame performance as well as PS5 Pro enhancements. So, would y'all consider Stellar Blade a Souls-like? No. Stellar Blade was more like a Sekiro with more of a focus on action. Like her beta abilities, that's more like adjacent to like an action game, where you regularly have abilities that recharge that you can use in the fight. Sekiro is its own animal. It's not really a Souls game. And Stellar Blade is more similar to Sekiro than any of the Souls games. And then again, the focus on action, I think, really changes the vibe. So, if you guys are just tuning in, take a quick second and smash the like button. Let's get to 300 likes. A nice strong turnout. I know a lot of you guys are looking for GTA 6. I know some of you guys are tired of GTA 6. I can't control the news cycle, but you can control this chat, okay? You can dictate what we talk about. And Spider Senseless submits a question as a member. You can have your questions featured here. What else do we expect or want to see in a GTA trailer other than a date, since the previous one's perceived to be in-engine gameplay? I personally want to be able to run without spamming X or guns. I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by the last part. In my mind, I think the best thing they could do is give a release date and actually show some gameplay. Yes, like behind the character, walking around, doing something. If it's just another cinematic, I mean, that's fine, but I think this close to release, it's time to show us some gameplay. They could do a bigger deep dive of gameplay in the summer and give us a little bit now, but I would think just another cinematic would be disappointing. What's the word on Insomniac's Wolverine? My understanding, as well as my own prediction in theory, is that Wolverine is not coming this year. It's coming next year. I think they made a Venom game. I think the reason that they didn't do DLC in Spider-Man 2 is because they looked at the demand and the sales of the DLC in Spider-Man 1, and they said, hey, let's just do another Miles Morales. I think Miles Morales was like instructive to them, and they realized we can make a lot more money using existing animation sets, existing characters, the world, the different attack patterns and things like that. I think they realized, hey, we can make a Venom game and make way more money making a Venom game for $40 or $50 than if we make like a bunch of like little offshoot DLCs and we sell them for like $10 each. So I have said, I think that the other first-party game this year, they're counting Death Stranding 2, which is like a second-party game exclusive, but Death Stranding 2 is not a first-party PlayStation studio. So I think there's a surprise game coming in the second half, but they're not going to say anything until we know the GTA 6 release date. All roads lead to GTA 6. Like, that game is hovering over the year like a shadow. Like, everybody's trying to get their game out before the summer. Because once the summer hits, they're probably anticipating two things happening. GTA 6 will dominate the marketing funnel, and we're going to know the release date. And everybody's going to want to give that game a wide berth. They're going to be like, yo, stay away from that game. You're going to want to launch at least a month before, and you're not going to want to launch after. You're going to want to probably wait a month or two to launch after. I think a lot of games are going to slip into the first quarter of next year. If that game lands in like October, I don't know, dude. A lot of games are going to try to either slam out in December or just bump to the next quarter, the first quarter of the next year. The guy that made the Venom voice passed away, but I hope they developed the Venom game before he passed. Yeah, Tony Todd. Yeah, he's been in so much. He was in Star Trek Next Generation. He was in Candyman. Like, he's been in he's great. He had such a good voice. It's so sad to lose him. Being number 2 behind GTA 6 would easily be huge. I feel like as soon as we get the GTA 6 release date, tons of other announces will follow. I think that's a very, very good prediction, Vithar. Guys, double check that YouTube's not being weird. We had this happen yesterday. Make sure it's saving your like. It did that thing again where I'm like, hey, y'all, hit the like button. And it moved up by like 2. I think it's doing that thing. Make sure and like refresh and see if it's saving it. That is a humongous help to the video to hit those milestones. If we could get to 300, that would be enormous. This early in the stream, we're only an hour into the live show. These live shows have gotten longer and longer, especially when you guys extend. We are behind on member goal for the week, though, so if you want that Friday night with Madam, we got to hit that. Now, what are your impressions of the Phantom Blade Zero from last night, says Stonespire? Yeah, I like it. I like the frenetic action. I like the multi-target parrying and blocking. It looks really, really good. I think it's going to look better on televisions and monitors because YouTube does pretty serious compression, and that's been a bit of an issue. It's like when you try to watch some of these fast-moving games, they end up looking pretty bad. So there's Insomniac news on the blogs. It's just a leadership shakeup. It's a guy is retiring, and they're appointing 3 co-leaders instead of one to replace him. Alfonso says, why are people so surprised that Assassin's Creed Shadows looks good? Outside of Japanese complaints about how their culture works, no one said AC looks bad as a game. Well, this has become a bit of an infection in the gaming market, where the minute there is something negative to fixate on, all other things are forgotten. I personally think that AC Shadows will be very commercially successful because the vast majority of consumers are going to see really cool gameplay, and that's all they're going to need to see. Right? That's all they're going to need to see. They're going to see really cool gameplay of a samurai or a ninja. They're going to see, Japan. They're going to see cool sword fights. I think that would be all it takes for the consumers to respond positively. I think everybody started fixating on like Yasuke, and then there was the lie that they were making him gay or something, which every game has allowed you for a long time now. Since Odyssey, I think they've allowed you to romance whoever you want. Like, if there's romance options, you can. You don't have to. They don't ever force it. But yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is just overrode the conversation. Like, even when I was breaking down the gameplay and I was talking about it, I was analyzing the telegraphs of the enemy, the stance resets, the stance changes, what looked like abilities, like high-powered abilities, what looked like the ability to stun or break posture, depending on what you do. I was sort of analyzing all those things, and I don't think anybody was really doing that. I think everybody was just like, oh, it's going to be lame, it's going to be woke, and I think a lot of that narrative is going to die this year. I already think there's tension within that community, the anti-woke guys. There's already tension with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. There are people that are losing their dadgum minds, saying it's woke, it's trash, not going to buy it. And then some of the others are like, this isn't a big deal. What are you guys getting all upset about? This is pretty much, par for the course in an RPG. They let you romance whoever you want. That's been going on since like Mass Effect. So I continue to think that movement is untethered, unorganized, and emotional, which means it won't last. And I have a lot of people that got upset at me predicting that, and they come to my comments and they display exactly why it won't last. They just sound like emotional young boys who are just angry all the time. They don't sound like thoughtful people. There's nothing intellectual about what they say. They just react, call me a name, and say, we're not going anywhere. And it's like, well, you're going to have a really hard time, making these claims when games come out and are massively successful, right? Kingdom Come Deliverance is going to be successful. I did a preview of it. I think it's a great game. Even though it's not for me, I think it's very high quality. AC Shadows continues to look good. Ghost of Yotei is likely going to crush and be amazing. These are all games that people claimed or are claiming right now are woke. That narrative's going to die underneath the weight of commercial results. They all try to claim the same thing about Horizon Forbidden West with photoshopped images of Aloy, and guess what? That game did completely fine, and now they won't talk about it. Or they'll just reference the photo dishonestly, and they won't actually show that she looks exactly like the actress. And when you try to show them that she looks exactly like the actress, they'll be like, no, that's a lot of editing. I had a guy literally use concept art. And he's like, well, this is what Aloy was supposed to look like. So I went to the portfolio of the artist. The artist who drew up the initial concept phases for Aloy also had her as a dark-skinned woman with, like, dreads. There were lots of different concept art pieces for Aloy. There was not, oh, this is what she's supposed to look like. He just threw out a bunch of concepts. So I think it's already running out of gas because they're already kind of folding in on each other. Like, Kingdom Come Deliverance is woke, and then people are like, no, it's not. And that'll kind of be the end of it because you'll start to lose steam because they're not all rallying around the same thing. Concord gave them such an easy thing to dunk on repeatedly, as well as Veilguard. And once they don't have that, it'll be harder for it to get the momentum that it had. So, Street Shadow said, comment there, you come up with that yourself. What? Creative comment? Wait, what did FCat say? Why are you saying that to him, Street Shadow? We said rip woke movement. Oh, rip the woke movement. Yeah. Jeff Grubb got it wrong too. Got what wrong? Anyways. Oh, guys, thanks so much for the like. See, there we go. That's much better. Now we're like 18 away from 300. Thank you so much. And guys, if you have a membership, hit that $ at the bottom of the chat. You may have a membership renewal to celebrate. You get to do those once a month. Got a question here from Joker Quinn. Realistically, when do you think we could see the next mainline God of War game? There's still a part of me that feels like there's still a part of me that feels like there's a spin-off Atreus game for like $40 or $50. When Grubb said the devs found out when he did. Yeah, he corrected that. That was incorrect. There's still a part of me that thinks there's a spin-off Atreus game for like $40 or $50. I do. I feel like that's got to be out there somewhere. We know that Corey's working on another game as well, like a sci-fi game or something. So I think the next God of War game will likely be a PlayStation 6, PlayStation 5 cross-gen title. That would be my guess. If you want a mainline Kratos God of War game, probably PS6, PS5 cross-gen title. So, yeah, that would be my prediction, just based off of the rhythm of things. So, that's the worst part of God. I'll pass on that one. I didn't like it that much either, Jake. I thought his combat got repetitive. I really didn't like the story segment where like you rode on the yak and it was like really, really, really long. That really hurts replayability. Like anybody replaying Ragnarok is not going to want to re-experience, Atreus riding on a yak for like long stretches of time. And again, his combat also got super repetitive, which I get why they made it the way that they made it. Wait. Did I not feature today's video? Okay, I did. So, the Atreus combat was fine. It just paled in comparison to the 3-weapon. Right, when they introduce it, Jesse, it's like you go from being like this spear-wielding, axe-wielding, chain-wielding god to a kid who, like, shoots some arrows and slaps people with his bow. It just didn't quite land at the right time. Maybe they should have had you playing as him a little bit earlier or something. Hilly with a question says, what do you think about Elon Musk pretending to be a level 97 hardcore PoE 2 player? I mean, I honestly don't care. I think people get too caught up in what that man does and says. I don't really care. I think he should have just admitted from the beginning, like, yeah, I'm rich. I pay people to grind characters for me. I think that would have landed much better. I think people would have just respected that. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of trying to insist that it was him, it's like, just say, yeah, I do. I don't know. I don't care. I really, really don't care. I think people fixate on stuff like that far too much. Spice King says, as a gaming news channel, what makes you think it's okay to report on the biggest game of the decade? Have some consideration for the people who are tired of hearing about it. Cater to them. Spice King, shut the frick up. Shut up. It's breaking TOS, though. He should be banned. I just don't care. Who cares? You know what I mean? If you wanted to pay your neighbor $50 a week to grind a character for you in NBA or something, like, I don't care. A career in NBA, whatever. So, question from Crinab. Will the second half of the PS5 generation be as good as the second half of the PS4 generation? Well, given what we know is in the pipeline, and given that Hiroki Totoki said for every fiscal year going forward, we will get big single-player games, I would say yes. I would say it's going to be great. It's like, come on, let's get this going here. You know what I mean? Like, I think when Yote hits, when Wolverine hits, when Intergalactic hits, I think there's a lot to be said for once a year having a monster and then like maybe like a second party or like a smaller title or something. I think there's a lot to be said for that. And Joker Quinn gifts a member. He pokes that member line. He's like, boys, we gotta rally together. We haven't even hit 200 on the week yet. Let's get it going. They should have had you play as Atreus before you got Kratos' other abilities. I think it would have helped. Yeah. I think it would have helped. All right, I tell you what, Garrett. There you go. Let's just do this for me, Garrett. You just take the day off. That's like, you guys keep trying to interject things into the topic that you know you shouldn't. And with the red badge, you can take the day off. Coyote Monsoon gifts a member. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And a single from Jack Garland. Here we go. Let me get this question off the board. Here we go. Little single gifted train. We go from 135 to 136 to 137. Thank you, boys. Keep it going. What do you think about Netflix raising prices again? I mean, that was predicted. Pretty much every market analyst said, you're just going to continue to see prices go up. Subscription services plateaued. That's what they're going to do. They'll start grouping together. They'll start bundling their services, and then that'll be how they justify the price raises. It'll just continue. Egnarts with 39 months of members. It's a member plus, so it counts towards the total. People will pay regardless. So far, all the news are about live service games being canceled, but Sony hasn't canceled any single-player games yet. Well, that we know about. Here's the difference, okay? All right? Here's the difference. They came out and announced their live service efforts, and then we learned about a bunch of the games. They also said they will continue investing in big single-player tentpole titles, but we didn't really hear about any of those. We assumed there was another Ghost of Tsushima. We knew Naughty Dog was working on something new that wasn't The Last of Us, but we had no idea. Netflix added 20 million new subs. That's not a plateau. They added 20 million new subs. How many did they lose? Eric, you understand what churn is, right? All market analysis has said that sub-services have plateaued. You're singling out one stat and likely falling for a misrepresentation. Hopefully you're not a shareholder. Like, that does not mean they net gained. Adding 20 million new subs, how many churned, how many did they lose? They're always adding and losing, homie. That's one of the biggest problems with sub-services, is they'll gain X number in a day and lose X number in a day. Now, back to what I was saying. Like, we knew they increased to over 320 million subs. Okay. All market... This is what I said. I didn't research the sub count of Netflix, so I don't care. All market analysis said sub-services are plateauing. Companies are going to raise their prices. That was my response to the question. If you're hyper-fixated on the net growth of Netflix's sub count, then... Yeah, they added that many for Squid Game. What happens next month? Right. They know the pattern of churn and burn. Right? They know that they'll add a bunch for Squid Game Season 2, and then they'll lose a bunch of people again the next go-around. That happens all of the time. So maybe WWE is helping them gain and keep at a better rate than they have in the past. Listen, I don't get down into the minutia of the sub count of all these platforms. I simply repeated what the market analysis was. I don't really care how many subs Netflix has. I didn't make a statement about Netflix total sub count. I simply said, this is what everybody said was going to happen. I don't think it's going to stop. Disney's partnering like with Hulu and Paramount, I think. They're bundling their services. That's going to be a continued trend that you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see sub-services ever stop or go down. Number of paid subscribers worldwide from first quarter. So, yeah, according to this graph that Paul has sent me, Netflix has continued to grow and not plateau. So, it's possible that because all sub-services are plateauing, Netflix is taking advantage of that fact and raising their prices. I don't know. I was simply repeating what the analysts had said about sub-services. Where's the GTA 6 trailer at? The current theory that I think is a good theory, it lines up with my own, is that the GTA 6 trailer 2 will land on January the 30th. They put out an image, and that image showed a bunch of numbers. Those numbers added up to the number 30. So everybody said, ooh, January 30th. That's a little flimsy, but it's not flimsy when you look at the fact that GTA 5 had its release date announced on January 31st, and Red Dead Redemption 2 had its release date announced on February the 1st, right around the same time. And that's right before their earnings call. I think that's why they traditionally did that. Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5 both launched in like September and October, and they had their release dates announced right at the end of January. That's conveniently right before the Take-Two earnings call. I think it's a solid theory. That's why it's on the thumbnail and in the title today. There's been 4 or 5 Trailer 2 theories this month that I have not covered, that I have not put in the title and the thumbnail because I didn't think they were very good. So. No trailer today. The clickbait title is crazy. Have a good stream. Enjoy never coming back here again. It's not clickbait. Read the description. It's not clickbait. It literally says GTA 6 trailer 2, comma. These are all the other topics we're covering. And in the description, it clearly states there's a theory. Your inability to read descriptions, your own fault. And now you can't come back here because I'm not putting up with people like you anymore. I don't put up with people who make up false claims. You know what I mean? Go write a twit longer. Cobra Kai with a $10 super chat. How much is it going to take to get a dedicated segment on Crimson Desert? It's like Breath of the Wild, Witcher, Final Fantasy 16, Shadow of Mordor, Dragon's Dogma in one game. This is the game of the decade, not GTA 6. Because I don't believe the gameplay that I'm seeing. That's why. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Cobra Kai. But I don't believe the gameplay that I'm seeing. I don't. Not on console, at least. No. If it's going to perform at any reasonable level of performance, that gameplay they've shown up to now for Crimson Desert, I don't believe it. It feels like I don't know. It just doesn't, there's something about it that doesn't feel right. There's something about the footage of Crimson Desert that doesn't feel right. Now, people got really upset and really butthurt. They'll clip this and misrepresent me because they always do. People got really upset during the Game Awards, and I said, there's no way this game is real. I said it with a smile on my face, and I was joking around like it just looks too good to be true. At some level, I kind of believe that. I'm like, this looks too good to be true. This is either going to be one of those games like Dragon's Dogma 2 that comes out and is so elaborate and so crazy that it runs like crap on console, and then you got to have a beast of a rig to play it on PC, or it's a bill of goods. It could be a total bill of goods. Like, they could totally be faking us out. I don't know. There's too much going on in the scenes. There's too many NPCs and enemies on the screens at certain times. I'm like, there's something about this that doesn't smell right. You know? There's something that doesn't smell right about that game. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know. Do we know what it's being built in? Crimson Desert engine. It's built in the Black Space engine. What are games in that? Black Desert Online uses it. Okay. Black Space Engine games. DokeV Plan 8. Yeah. Is this a tested engine? I don't know. Yeah, according to this IGDB website, DokeV Crimson Desert and Plan 8. It's a custom engine. Yeah. So they have either achieved like proprietary engine wizardry like we've seen from Insomniac, or we're seeing something that's been post-rendered and juiced in some way. I don't know. There's a bunch of gameplay and combat videos. Yeah, there was a bunch of gameplay videos of the day before, and my Spidey sense said there's something off here. There's something not right. We had a handful of videos of alleged gameplay from the day before, and I was like, there's something not right about this. This looks too good to be true. And when I look at Crimson Desert, all of my hackles get raised. I'm like, I don't know. This looks too good to be true. I can't see this running well. You're doing things that some of the best developers in the world aren't attempting to do, with like number of NPCs on the screen, size and scope, graphical fidelity and lighting in the midst of a fast-paced, fluid fight. I'm like, there's something not right here. And if they're just running on some beastly PC rig and then they're going to turn all that off on console, or they're going to pull a Black Myth Wukong and just let it run like garbage on console, or lean on frame gen or something, I don't know. We're comparing it to the day before. That's a bad comparison. It would be a bad comparison if I made a comparison. I didn't make a comparison. I said, you can show me gameplay and it not be real. The day before did it. And plenty of people use the same logic. When I said the day before doesn't look real, they were like, how could it not be real? Look at all the gameplay they've given us. They use the same argument. Crimson Desert has given us a bunch of gameplay, and I'm here to tell you, it's something about it feels off. Something about it doesn't smell right. I'm like, this doesn't look like anything I've seen this gen from some of the biggest AAA developers out there, and with this custom unproven engine that we've never really seen in use, I'm supposed to believe you're achieving this level of fidelity, lighting, NPC count, fluidity, and speed in combat? Okay. We'll see. I've been doing this long enough to know there are games that raise my skepticism. I remember looking at Dragon's Dogma 2 and thinking, that looks nuts. Look at how it ran. Black Myth Wukong looked unbelievable and unreal, and look at what happened. I just watched this again. It looks very believable, even though when the dragon is breathing fire, I know to slow down. I think it looks great, nothing impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying if that's what they're going to do, I don't see it running well on console. I don't see it running well on console. There's too much going on. Like, everything I know and everything I've experienced this gen, I'm looking at Crimson Desert and I'm like, apparently you're going to have a monster rig to run this, because I don't see any of this running well on a console. Every game that's attempted to do things like this, Icon fights in Final Fantasy 16, Dragon's Dogma 2, that level of speed, fluidity, graphical intensity in the midst of all this crazy stuff going on, look at what we've received. We've received games that have issues with performance. You have no reason to doubt them? I just gave you plenty of reasons to doubt them. Experienced veteran developers in the world attempt to do things like this, and we don't get great performance. You got Capcom, and then you got the folks that make Final Fantasy, and look what we got when they get that ambitious. They were able to fix Dragon's Dogma 2. Fix? It's not fixed on PS5, brother. No, it's not. You got to play it on the Pro. On the PS5, you're still getting 40s in the frame rate on a regular basis. They haven't fixed Final Fantasy 16. They haven't fixed Black Myth Wukong. These are games that when we saw the footage looked a little too good to be true, looked a little too crazy, and look at what we got. Crimson Desert in the exact same lane. I'm like, I don't know about this one, boys. I don't know about this one. Mostly due to UE5. Really? The issues in Final Fantasy 16 aren't related to UE5. They're related to FSR. The issues in Dragon's Dogma 2 has nothing to do with Unreal. It had to do with how they optimized the game and made a CPU bottleneck. When you throw what we're seeing in Crimson Desert at a game, there is an anvil somewhere in the mix. There is an anvil somewhere in there. That game looks nuts. Something along the way is going to squeeze your performance. I'm here to tell you, everything in me says, no way. There ain't no way I'm getting that at 60 and good performance on my PlayStation 5 Pro. Well, maybe my Pro, but not the base PS5. No way. There's something, I'm telling you, if I'm wrong, great. I would rather be skeptical and be like, I don't know, man. You got to prove to me. You got to prove to me that this thing's going to run at a reasonable level, because everything about this looks too good to be true. Well, no, people said the same thing with CD Projekt Red and The Witcher 3. Some unknown studio is going to do what Bethesda can't. Do you remember how The Witcher 3 launched? Are you trying to prove my point? They had to do a lot of work to get that game to not be glitch-riddled and problematic with performance. I don't care how the base PS5 runs. I do, because the vast majority of the people in the PlayStation funnel have that, and I'm trying to do due diligence and tell you guys, pump the brakes on Crimson Desert. I'm serious. Pump the brakes on it. You can be excited, you can watch the trailers, and you can be pumped. Just be careful. I'm here to tell you, it has all the hallmarks of a game that ain't going to run very well. All the hallmarks of a game that you're going to need a good rig or at the very least the Pro. I'm just giving you a warning. I'm not poo-pooing the game. Guaranteed. Lono's bashing the game. Lono hates the game. Lono's calling the game trash. I'm not saying any of that. That's fine, but we don't have to care. I'm not saying you have to care. I'm explaining why I'm raising the red flag. I'm raising the red flag to people. I'm like, listen. We've been here before. We've seen games like this before. Settle down. This one's gonna have performance issues. If it doesn't, throw confetti in the air and give him an award, because it has all the hallmarks of games that struggle with that. Now, Paul's sending me something here. Pearl Abyss cites their proprietary game engine, Black Space, as a major advantage they have over other developers. They have full control over what the engine can do, and they were able to add so many things in Crimson Desert that other developers using Unreal can't do. Okay, so what did I say a little bit ago? If they pulled off proprietary engine wizardry like Insomniac, then oh boy, that's exciting. It's an unproven engine right now. You don't have a game in the market that you can point to. Like with Insomniac, you can point to their games and say, yo, their proprietary engine's got wizard dust in it. I don't know how they're doing this stuff. Maybe we have another instance of that on our hands. I'm just telling you to be cautious. That's all I'm saying. We've been here before, boys. And 60-something million people, you know, are able to play Dragon's Dogma 2 on their PlayStation 5 with issues. Same with Black Myth. Same with Final Fantasy 16 in performance mode. Okay, there's a pattern here of games that look a little too good to be true turn out to be that way. Now, for example, here we go. For example, they can add minute details such as reeds being cut down during combat. They also describe being able to depict a drop in temperature with characters automatically slowing their movement. Pearl Abyss also went beyond their NPCs having present behaviors. They have their own AI, enabling more dynamic interactions. For example, an NPC may choose to run away from a fight based on how many enemies they have at their power level. Pearl Abyss invested big in Black Space Engine. You can't see the rest, I'll just read it. And they accounted for why the game took so long to make, and also why they're confident about it now. As it turns out, Pearl Abyss was in a better position to do this than their Korean peers like Shift Up and Round 8 Studios. Do you see? My skepticism is warranted. Listen to what they're saying. They're saying, yo, we can have the reeds get cut in a fight. We can have the NPCs have their own AI. Like I said, there's something about this that feels off. They're saying, oh no, you're right. You're right to detect that this seems too good to be true. Our engine's helping us do something that the other developers can't do. Give me my flowers. That backs what I was saying. That literally backs what I've been saying. I'm like, dude, there's something about this that makes me suspicious. And they're like, oh, you should be suspicious. Nobody else can do this. We figured all this out because of the proprietary engine. And I'm saying, okay. Yoshi P, before Final Fantasy 16 came out, said it was going to show off the power of the PS5. And they got a performance mode that doesn't maintain 60. So they just threw the gauntlet down. They said, listen, we can do things that nobody else can do. I was detecting that. I was telling you guys. I was like, I'm not seeing anybody else do this. I just said that 2 minutes ago. I said, why are you suspicious? Why are you skeptical? Because some of the biggest AAA developers out there aren't doing what these guys are doing in the footage. I could sense it. I could feel it. I'm like, someone's off here. And they're saying, no, nothing's off. It's our engine. Well, there you go. I expect greatness. I expect it to run like they've shown us then. K.Cole with a $5 super chat. How dare you manage my expectations? Cobra, it's everything they just said. Listen, it's the same reason that when I saw 60 seconds of the day before, I said something's not right here. There's something that wasn't right. There was an air of inauthenticity to it. It's like I've watched gameplay trailers, I've watched gameplay breakdowns, I've watched raw gameplay since I was old enough to get on a computer. And I'm like, there is something off about the day before. I saw footage of Crimson Desert multiple times now. And I was like, bro, No, I don't. I've played plenty of games like this, and they don't look like that. You know what I mean? Crimson Desert's what we're talking about. I kept saying it's too good to be true. During the Game Awards, I was like, dude, this game's not real, bro. The developers are quite literally responding. I can't be the only one saying it if they literally did an interview and they're like, our engine's allowing us to do stuff that other developers can't do. In the middle of a fight, we literally have the reeds getting cut. That's a little like dash of extra that when I see that in the middle of a game, I'm like, oh, come on. Come on. Like, it triggers a skepticism in me. I think that's healthy to be like, okay, we've been doing this long enough to know that they can juice up a trailer and make it look unbelievable, and then the real thing hits the shelves and it's not like that. Or it has performance issues. FF16 should have never shipped with a performance mode on console till it was ready. Also, Crimson Desert will without a doubt be 30 FPS on console. I don't know, Jake. I don't know. They're talking about this engine. They sound a little bit like Insomniac to me. It sounds like they've got some wizardry inside of this thing. I don't know. Anyways, lots to talk about, guys. You can actually submit questions if you are a member, and I'm going to put one up on the board here in just a second. If you want to do this, listen, you can talk in my chat just from subscribing. Subscribing's free, and you can chat. You can have your question featured if you're a member, and sometimes those will get turned into shorts. So if you want to become a member and you think this is a pretty cool place, click join and then pick Member Plus. It's $6 a month. You can help us work on a big goal right now. I need like 40-something people to either upgrade to Plus or pick Plus, and that moves the goal. I count those as 2, by the way. So, and this is something you can do right here. Minstree submits a question. Why do you think companies keep release dates private from each other? I would think companies in the same industry share some info so everyone can be successful. There's a handful of reasons you will likely not ever see this happen. Number 1, the more people that know, the more likely that it gets released. Number 2, release dates are touchy because they are now, especially with something the size of GTA 6, the GTA 6 release date is directly correlated to shareholder confidence, shareholder value. Okay, share value. Like the fiscal year that GTA 6 lands in is important and very, very valuable to the shareholders. So you don't want that to leak and then get walked back, or leak and then be incorrect or whatever, okay? The other thing is, why would you frickin' care about these other guys? Right? GTA 6 trailer 2. We had no idea when it's coming. We got theories. We got people adding up numbers. We got people looking at license plates and Instagram photos. That kind of intrigue and power. Do you want to dispel that mystique and mystery? Probably not. Probably not. And so the last thing you want to do is like, hey guys, this is our release date. We want you to be able to, to plan your year out. Well, that could get leaked. The more hands that the information passes through, the more likely it hits the public. Cobra says, to be clear, I have no doubt that it'll be buggy or take a performance hit on console. That describes a bunch of games at launch. I just hope all the combat and gameplay isn't smoke and mirrors. Yeah, Cobra, what's really interesting here is, I mean, come on, give me a little bit of credit here. Everything I talked about with respect to their game seeming too good to be true, they have directly responded to that and said, yeah, of course our game looks like other games. It doesn't look like other games out there. We're able to do things that the other developers can't do. It's like they know. Listen, if you've been in the industry long enough and you put together these little, gameplay supercuts of Crimson Desert, they have to know nobody's going to believe this is real. Let's just say hypothetically they're pulling it off, right? Let's just say hypothetically they're pulling it off. It's well optimized. It's going to run like a dream even if you're not on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Let's just say that it's genuine and it's real. Let's just do a thought experiment. I would bet people at the company are like, nobody's going to believe this is real, bro. It's an unproven engine. We're not a super well-known dev. Nobody's going to believe this is real. Why do you think they're doing interviews about the engine and about the proprietary tech and what they're able to do with combat and the world and reads, dynamic reactions, AI for the NPCs? They knew. They're like, dude, people are going to doubt us. People are going to doubt us. It's one of the few times I'm hoping it's real. I always hope it's real. I never hope that it's fake. I'm never like, well, I want to be right, so I hope it's fake. It would have been monumental. It would have been the story of the century if the day before was real and launched at the quality that they showed us. That would have been insane. I would have celebrated that. I'm like, I was wrong. It's amazing. But instead, I was like, I freaking told y'all. I freaking told y'all these guys were scam artists and liars. You know, it was like, what are we even talking about here? Mika and the Witch's Mountain fully launches today. Oh yeah, I saw that in my feed. Some games coming to Keymailer. The makers of this are inviting you to an exclusive media playtest of their game this month. What's the game? Brawler combat with tactical extract. No thanks. And Stonespire wants to make it easy. He does 2 singles to 140. He's like, where are the big boy gifters at? He wants a 10 bomb to 150. The big bomb droppers have been absent this week, and Stonespire's trying to summon them like a gifted member Pokemon. We'll see if he can do it. So, all right, last question in the queue, so you guys can submit more questions if you want. If you're looking for the GTA 6 trailer 2, I outlined the theory. It's during the show open. You can subscribe for free and ask me any questions. I've been covering it extensively. I've been checking the GTA 6 news videos that are everywhere, trying to give you guys what I think is either good information or a solid theory. And today's theory I actually think is pretty good. So, but I'm not going to keep repeating it. You can subscribe for free and ask me if you want. Liquid Smoke says, if they make a Spider-Man 3 or a Venom game, who do you think the symbiote will attach to with Harry in the coma? Well, my thought would be the Venom game would actually be a unique experiment in you would play a section of Spider-Man 2 that was unseen. There's a section of Spider-Man 2 that goes unseen. Like Venom is like taking over the city and all this stuff's happening. You could play that, and like Spider-Man and Miles are like trying to find you. They could do something like that. I don't know if that means you'd have to like actually fight against Spidey and Miles. That might be a little interesting. That would be that'd be maybe my guess. Or maybe a prequel. They could do some kind of a prequel. Somebody gets infected with it and is like, I don't know, goes somewhere else and does something with it. I don't know. That's a fair question. I'm not really sure. All right, I got to chime in here on what's going on in chat. You guys are saying, Chris Davies, you said something wildly outlandish that you know isn't going to happen. Then somebody called you out and you play victim. Okay, what did Chris Davies claim? I've been ignoring the back and forth because I could tell it was very much off topic. A little par for the course, so I just kind of stayed out of it. What's going on, folks? Clue me in here. Clue me in on what's going on. What are you guys debating? Make it a prototype. Please just something. Ashen, what are you talking about? Make what a prototype? Stonespire with a question. The Xbox Developer Direct is tomorrow, and we now have a possible release date for Doom: The Dark Ages. How much gameplay do we think we will see on it tomorrow? I think tomorrow we get to see our first hands-on gameplay with Doom. I think we finally get to see our first hands-on gameplay with Doom: The Dark Ages. I'm hoping for hands-on good gameplay of South of Midnight as well. Those are 2 games I'm really looking forward to this year. I think Xbox has a very strong lineup. After you get Avowed out of the way, because I'm not excited about it, And it's, as I've said many times, it's 30 FPS on console, so that doesn't get any interest from me. After they get that out of the way, you got South of Midnight, you got Doom the Dark Ages, you got the Outer Worlds 2. My theory is Fable slipped. It's not coming this year. That's why they moved Outer Worlds 2 earlier to trade places with it. So that's still a solid lineup. That's a really solid lineup. Your co-host is acting up again? My co-host? What are you talking about, Divisive? Chris said that Bart Simpson can't beat up Batman. Oh, okay. Somebody give me a real update. What the frick is going on here? Can nobody give me a too long didn't read on what in the world you guys have been going back and forth on for 20 minutes? Like the video game prototype? Oh, is that what Ashton is saying he wants? And a $5 super chat from Sneaky Wolf. We're one away from confetti. They could use the Venom game to introduce Eddie Brock into the world since Harry's not around. That's true, Sneaky. They could do a bit of a spin-off. That wouldn't be bad. What are my thoughts on Outer Worlds? I enjoyed my time in Outer Worlds 1, but I was a Destiny streamer at the time, so I ended up having to go back to Destiny, and I didn't get to stay in it for very long. I love the look and the aesthetic. I really do. I enjoyed my time in the game. I don't remember how long I played it. There's a game called Prototype. It was a total power trip. You play as a dude who's infected by a virus. Oh, no, I'm familiar with the game. I thought you were talking about something else. Oh, like the symbiote and it spreads around the city. So you're saying either make a prototype or make it like Prototype. Okay, I understand now what you were saying, Ashen. Thought I missed all the drama. I did. I want to know what's going on. All right, I'm going to have to click on his chat history because none of you're all ignoring me. You won't talk to me. I asked for a too long didn't read and no one will give me one. How crazy to work on something. I'm not. You can happily think, why am I just saying from my own experience? Okay. He's saying, how crazy is to work on something, it gets leaked, you get angry, and you think stuff, I'm not doing any more to me that could happen. After the massive Wolverine leak, it would not surprise me if it was canceled at all. Okay, so he says after the leak, it wouldn't surprise him if it was canceled. Is that what people got upset about? You're telling me Marvel has not canceled games? People, come on now, come to say what I think. It's not fake, as I never said it was. It's clearly I did not say that. Is that what you guys are upset about? That initial statement that he made? He said it wouldn't surprise me if Wolverine got canceled. He didn't say that it was canceled. He just said it wouldn't surprise me if it got canceled after the leak. I don't agree. I don't think you would ever cancel a game because of a leak. I think his logic is faulty, but he didn't say that it was getting canceled. If his initial statement is what you guys have been going around and round and round about, faulty logic isn't worth all of this hullabaloo. Like, I think his logic is faulty. You know what I mean? I'll be good today. It's all love. God of Thunder, I had a feeling about you. It's why you're still here. I let you blow off that steam yesterday, and I was like, I'm not going to ban him. Because up to that point, we were having a good time, yelling at each other. He said Wolverine was going to be canceled. No, he didn't. I just read his original statement. He said, after the leak, it wouldn't surprise me if Wolverine gets canceled. That's what he said. And then he said, what, you think Marvel's never canceled a game before? That's all he said. I think his logic is faulty, but he didn't say that it was going to be canceled. I don't think his comments were bad, says Street Shadow. It's his opinions or thoughts. I strongly disagree, but not worth an argument. I think you guys really misread what he said. Get ready for the world premiere of the Assassin's Creed Shadows story trailer tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, so 12. Okay. Thanks for all my apologies. It was kind of fun. Won't happen again. Yeah, if you keep it in the lane of just passionately just wailing on each other's arguments, I'm totally fine with that. Just keep it out of the, And if you keep it out of the insults, just don't hit below the belt, and I think we can have a great time. I love when people come in here and are like, "You're wrong, Lono." Like I think that's fun. Get your time right. Anthony, you shut the frick up, man. I really was excited about that Phantom Blade Zero trailer yesterday. I was really excited. The yelling part will and should happen again. Yeah, exactly. Yell, scream, shout. Let's have an amazing sparring session. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. It is. I hope the trailer has some cool raps and hip hops. Plural hip hops. You're wrong, Lono. You misspelled your, F-Cat. Got him. All right, we got some questions. Cobra Kai makes the confetti with the super chat. I now owe you guys a member. Let's reset it. I will gift a member. There we go. He said Spider-Man 2 only sold 5 million copies. Chris. No, sir. I defended you. You were in chat saying some bullshit. Out here on some bull. Spider-Man 2 did not sell 5 million copies. Stop it. All right, here's the member that I owe you. Chris, you better behave yourself. You come in here with all this bad faith stuff. Don't start that. Don't start that again. I defended you. F-Cat jumps back in as a member plus, and I gift a member, and that takes us to 142. We are 8 members away from me owing you more members. Look at the log. I did create that. Huh? Did you mean to say concede? That's what people took issue with? Yeah, Lona, if you're going to go off topic, do it in the Discord. So, yeah, if you're going to go off topic, do it in the Discord so Lona can ignore it. That's right. Here's a good one from Wolf Saints. What do you think they'll do with Silk, Lono? I think he means Silk Song. I think Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song is in a precarious position. I think that they are being faced with the hype of attention. GTA 6 trailer. The current theory that I have ignored the last 3 or 4 theories, I think this theory is good, Mick. GTA 6 trailer 2 on January the 30th, I think is the most solid theory we've had. I think it's even better than the 27th, and here's why. They released an image about GTA Online. It had a bunch of numbers in it. The numbers added up to 30. Everyone says, ooh, January 30th would be perfect for a trailer. Now, here's the thing. That lines up with my own theory, so my bias says, ooh, I like that. Here's what was compelling about it. GTA 5 had its release date announced on January 31st. Red Dead Redemption 2 had its release date announced on February 1st. Right there at the end of January, beginning of February, which is right before the Take-Two earnings call on February the 6th. I continued to say I thought that'd be a great time to walk out a trailer with a release date because I think they want to go into the next earnings call with that cemented. So I think it's a decent theory. Both GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 landed in September and October, but their release dates landed right at the beginning of that window of time, right before earnings calls. I think it's sound logic. I said it was 11 days, but you both did not read me say that. That's on you. Any negative Crimson Desert talk will result in a ban. Don't let it happen again. God of Thunder says, I ended up just letting myself out of the chat yesterday just because I knew I was messing up the vibe a little bit, so I just left. I think that shows a lot of maturity, man, because I myself felt like I got too into it with you, and I know people find it entertaining, but more and more I've tried to not do that, and if I do it, I want it to be shorter and clearly entertainment focused. So I also felt like, the vibe got a little off kilter there. It's hard. It's a live fire exercise. You know what I'm saying? We're real people living life, emotional reactions, happen. So it's like, I felt the same way. I was like, that got a little off kilter, which is why I tried to calm it down after a bit. I was like, all right, come on, let's calm this down. It's hard to do that sometimes in the heat of the moment, though, hard to do that. Not to derail, but speaking of Crimson Desert, I really hope that game comes out good. Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit, Alex. Apparently, the developers have said that the proprietary engine is helping them do a lot. Like a lot of the stuff that we're seeing that seems almost too good to be true. They're saying it's the engine. There are days that I wish Lono was self-aware enough to just leave. Oh my gosh. That's good. Lono, on the 30th, the new GPUs launch. Put a 5090 in your thumb with GTA. If there's nothing else going on that day, Wired Rope, I think we'll just do another waiting room. It's freaking fun. It's fun. Why not? I mean, there's people are getting upset about like how often we cover it or talk about it. It's like, well, what would you rather me do? You want me to keep you updated on like mobile games or like lesser known games? There's nothing in the news cycle right now. And when there is stuff in the news cycle, we talk about it. We've been talking about Phantom Blade Zero, Crimson Desert, the Horizon MMO. We spent a good 20 to 30 minutes debating the Horizon MMO coverage. You know what I'm saying? I'm adding more through the theory. I tagged you. All right, give me 1 second to pull that up. Give me 1 second. I'm just giving my my Phantom Blade Zero post a little bit of a retweet on my bigger account. I think my theory on the Venom game introducing Eddie Brock into the world as Venom, because Norman at the end is obviously showing he's about to be Green Goblin, and Spider-Man will kill him while Harry's in a coma. He'll wake up and he'll become Hobgoblin, leaving room for Eddie. That's not bad. That's not bad. And the Venom game could set up like a multi-villain Spider-Man 3, Green Goblin, Venom, Hobgoblin. You could have like a whole cast of enemies. You know what I mean? I think that Like a Dragon pirate game looks fun, man. I might actually end up playing that one quite a bit. I'm excited. I am. I'm excited. I think it looks good. I've not ever played a Like a Dragon game before. Carnage left the city and had a story thread hanging. Yeah, I mean, you could have Venom fighting Carnage maybe for a spin-off game. I don't know. We don't need both Hob and Green. It could be a setup, though. It could be a good setup. You know what I mean? Yeah, so the guy that's retiring from Insomniac, Ted Price, he's had 30 years at the company. I mean, that's he hit 30 and he's out. I don't think he wanted to go for another 5 or 10. You like to end on that. You know what I mean? You like to end on the good note, on the good number. Warden's Will has gotten its score to bounce back a little bit, at 74% on Steam. I put that game on your radar, guys. Little rogue, co-op rogue game. Looks a whole lot like Risk of Rain. They've done an update here. They're going to be doing fixes to the difficulty of the economy. There's going to be additions coming as well as expansion. So they have a 3-step process to their game. I like these guys. I think they've done good work with their game and responding to the community. They really, really have. They really, really have. Okay, a studio followed me. Solo game developer. What game you working on right now? Ooh, working on the backgrounds, prioritizing newer details. Feels like I'm about halfway to the goal. Little indie game. Metroidvania? Well, have you, is your game wishlistable? I like when these people follow me and I want to check out your game, but a lot of times they just upload videos to Twitter so you can see like what they're doing. They have a development blog for their game, Axiom of Maria. Let's see, links and contact. Oh, they have a Steam page. Oh, wait, it came out in February of last year. Story-rich cyberpunk adventure action 3D game called Axiom of Maria. 56 reviews. It has an 89%. Very cool. They have a demo and everything. I wonder, are they working on something new? Yeah, January 18th, they're working on new things, it looks like. Maybe a new game. It looks like the same game, though. Maybe they're doing a new chapter or an update or something. If the quad frame gen is really good, I may consider upgrading. Bloody Monitor will do 240 hertz. Would be nice to actually be able to use all that. What game? Yeah, it's called Axiom of Maria. Oh, what he has on Steam is Axiom of Maria Prologue. And his dev diaries were showing Chapter 1 and 2. So he might be piecemealing it or getting ready to launch like a more full version of the game or something. It has a decent score again. It has an 89% on Steam. So, not a huge game. But the dev followed me. So I always like to look into what people are making. Question from Cobra Kai says, have you seen the Wu Chang Fallen Feathers gameplay? Yes, that game has radically changed. The very, very first appearance of Wu Chang Fallen Feathers when it first sort of debuted, it was sort of criticized as doing a lot of like direct animation rips from Dark Souls. And other Souls games, and they went quiet for a long time, and then they poked their head back out with their latest trailer, and it looks ridiculously awesome. So, have you seen Grass of Genesis? The girl fights and kills like John Wick. Are you talking about I've already talked about that game. What's the name of the game you're talking about? The game I promoted, I forget the name of it now. It's left my brain. I've DM'd them before, so I'm searching my DMs. Their game is like Gun Fu or something is what they... Spine. Spine is a game that they have yet to announce its release date. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC, and it looks friggin' awesome. So I don't know if you're talking about Spine. Spine is can be wishlisted right now. Very much John Wick inspired. Could Fallen Feathers be the mysterious fourth game at the Direct, or too soon? The word on the street is that it's an established franchise. Gunfu, you have my attention. Have you not seen Spine? Spine looks so freaking legit. Add to my wish list on Steam. Spine is like Jane Wick, we'll call it. It's called Gun Fu. She intermixes like kung fu fighting, martial arts with a gun, and other things. That wasn't the greatest showcase. Hang on, is this I think the announcement trailer might be a little bit better. They're going to have to absolutely nail combat. They're going to have to absolutely nail the feel. This is the kind of game where if it feels clunky or the camera's frustrating, it'll ruin it. Like, it has to feel like pristine. Why no ads for Avowed? I thought Xbox just this morning pushed out something, or was it a montage? I've seen some people complaining about that. It's possible that they don't want to overshadow the dev direct, or vice versa. Like maybe they want the dev direct to come out, and then once the dev direct dust settles, they'll start pushing more stuff next week for Avowed. You know what I mean? Like, you've got Doom the Dark Ages, South of Midnight. Like, they need to be given their time to shine. It's not their fault that Avowed got delayed. Avowed's already supposed to be in the market. So I don't think it just wouldn't be in the marketing rhythms of a company like that. It just doesn't make any sense to be like, well, let's start really heavily pushing Avowed right now. I don't think they want to do that. I think they want to wait. Because it's like, no, Avowed's supposed to be out already. So let these other games have their moment. Yeah, they did like a lore dump, and then they did like a little video yesterday that was sort of about like the lore and the characters in the world. So, yeah. Yeah, I know about the ballerina movie, Wolf Saints, the John Wick movie. I know about that. That's not... Is the gameplay trailer of Spine, does it show more than we just watched? Yeah, so this is going to be gameplay and cutscenes footage captured on PC, so this might be a better mix. You see no hype for it? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Xbox has their own marketing plan, you know? They've got a plan in play. I think the Dev Direct, South of Midnight, and Doom are going to get the front and center treatment right now. You know? I'll be honest. You're on a 9-month-old account. I feel like you're just baiting for a clip. You want me to say something negative about Avowed. You just come in and randomly and say there's not enough marketing about Avowed, like hoping that you get me to say something so you can feed your clip feeds today. You know what I mean? A baby account randomly bringing up the lack of Avowed marketing. Like, could you be more predictable? Spine sounds like Equilibrium, the game. Old girl's definitely using the gun. Yo, what's good, Purple Haze? What's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Y'all, we got to get this member count going. We got to get Feed back in the mix. We got to get better. We got to get back on pace. Grass of Genesis is the game. I don't think I've seen that game. It's called Grass of Genesis? Grass of Genesis gameplay demo from a year ago, 9 months ago. Who's developing this? There's so many of these games that look like this, and I'm like, who's making this? Like that Dino game that I thought looked cool, and then I found that it was the people that made that frickin' trash pile Quantum Error. Yeah, this looks like simulated gameplay to me. Ryan Hare gifts a member, and Purple Haze gifts a member. That's 6 to take us to 148. We're 2 away from 150. All right, let's go back to the trailer. This looks like simulated gameplay. This doesn't look real. I see Unreal 5. I see simulated, like fully rendered, not raw gameplay. That's what I see. And DK Bagger gifts 1 and gets us really, really close to the 50. Well, how are you going to mess up my pop culture reference? It's very difficult to find situations where it's appropriate to bring up Equilibrium. Sorry. A certain YouTuber put the clip of me asking about that. FCat, what did you ask about? Nice tag team, Purple. Can we get to the frickin' gameplay? How long is she gonna crawl through this crevasse? 149. Thank you so much, DK Baker. We're a single member away from 150. Jiminy Christmas. I'm skipping ahead. She's still crawling. Crawling. Jiminy. 3 minutes in, she's still crawling. 4 minutes in, she fell into some water. Jiminy Christmas. What is this? It's like the beginning of Hellblade 2. Yeah, I'm seeing Unreal here. Is this Unreal 5? No! I'm falling! Help me, drone! All the metal shards are missing her. Gameplay? You got any gameplay? Guys, she's still... yeah, this isn't real gameplay. This isn't real. This is all simulated. Like, her climbing, not real. Not real. Here we go. Yeah, this isn't real. Well, hang on a minute. That movement looks real. Hang on. The graphical fidelity looks like it's dropped a little bit all of a sudden. Like, look at her arm. This actually might be real here. This looks more genuine than the earlier stuff. Yeah, the fidelity on her doesn't look so fake now. This could actually be genuine. I don't know. It's hard to know. They keep interrupting for little sequences like this, so it's so difficult to know. But this doesn't look as overproduced, over-polished. I mean, that was just a couple of seconds. And there it is, 150. Ganks gets us there. Thank you, Ganks. I owe you guys a 5-bomb. Tomb Raider inspired action game. Unreal 5. Told you. You can feel. I can feel Unreal 5. I can like feel it. It's like learning to read Braille. Like I can watch a trailer and it's like, yeah, that's Unreal 5. All right, here's the 5-bomb that I owe you guys at 150. We need some monsters to catch up this week. We're at 150 on a Wednesday, boys. We'll see. And Zinthos does the Agents of Chaos with his renewal and pushes us to 151. Thank you, sir. Should it be 154? What are you talking about? No, DK Baker got us to 148. Gangs got us to... I'm sorry, DK Baker got us to 149. Gangs got us to 150. And then I added my 5. Holding the gun sideways, the telltale sign the devs have never held a gun. I mean, they're just making it look cool. I don't care about that. You've never held a gun. And they're like, okay, you've never made a game. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's fine. It's meant to look cool. You think we'll get Oblivion Remaster? I don't know when we get it, but I'm pretty sure it's coming. Isn't it coming this year? I think it is. Purple was a 5. Yeah, I know Purple was a 5. We were at 142 or 143 or something like that. Purple and Ryan Hare got us to like 148 or something like that, or 149. And another 5-bomb from Purple Haze takes us to 156. Yeah, I'm fairly certain I added it right. Purple's the one that got us to like the 148, 149 with her 5. So she did a 5 and somebody did a single. Disorder is the Temu Stellar Blade. Yeah, Disorder probably doesn't have great scores. It did not look that good. It looked really rough. The demo got really bad response from people in our community. It has a 4.04. That's not terrible. That's an 80. Churchery says, I've been gifted so many memberships. When I'm done with school this year and I have the bucks again, I'm going to gift as many members as I've been given times 10. I love this community. Well, Churchery, I'm glad that you benefited from the generosity, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And Joker Quinn says, let's keep the member train going. We've got to catch up, and gets us to 161. Thank you so much, Joker Quinn. Please stop making my man math so much. He's going to use up all his math for the month. All right, let's see Disorder in Steam. Is it faring any better? No, it's not. It's got a terrible score in Steam. Mostly negative, 38%. It only has 50 ratings on PlayStation. 16% of the ratings are a 1 star. Actually, if you add in 4%, 20% of the people that rated it on PlayStation, so the 16 and the 4, so 20% are giving it two stars and down. That's not very good. That really isn't good. 26% is 3 stars and down. That's bad. That's bad. I don't know, the 66% at 5. Okay, that's a lot of people that are like, no, this is bad. 26% are basically like, and it's got a terrible score on Steam. I literally think they just made like you're saying, like a Temu. How do you say that? Temu? It's like it's like Stellar Blade at home. Horizon Forbidden West is region locked on PC 10 months after release for some reason, subjecting millions to Sony's shenanigans. Are you freaking serious, Sony? Why does PlayStation keep doing this? Sony is keen to get more people on PSN and is porting a lot of games to PC, but it's shooting itself in the foot by region locking games like Horizon Forbidden West that don't even require an account to play. I don't understand PlayStation's PC strategy. At this point, I don't think it does either. Horizon Forbidden West is a game that doesn't require Steam users to connect to PSN accounts to play, yet a Reset Era user notice it's been region locked in countries that don't have access to PSN, such as Egypt, the Philippines, and North Korea. This might have made sense at launch, but it's been out on PC for 10 months already. SteamDB shows the full list of countries that now can't access the game, and they're all in the ones where you can't make a PSN. You can check on PlayStation's website to see if your country can get access to the online service. Sony has previously stated that forcing PC players to get PSN accounts can invite pushback, but that it needs to make sure everyone is being civil and playing games properly, though that doesn't make much sense for single-player games like Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima. It especially doesn't make sense because Ghost of Tsushima launched and you only need it if you want to play Legends. You don't need it for the campaign. This is brain dead. Sony recently saw a huge pushback for Helldivers 2. It reversed the decision. I understand it wants to grow PSN, but it's leaving money on the table here by blocking millions of gamers around the world from playing PC. Yeah, what about people who already bought Horizon Forbidden West in those regions? What about people who already bought the game in those regions? This should be illegal. You know what I mean? The whole approach seems counter to Sony's apparent ambition to reach more PC players because enforcing PSN linking to Steam bars a lot of gamers from, in a lot of countries. Hopefully they will change this practice soon. Well, they're not going to change the practice, but you shouldn't be able to do that retroactively. You shouldn't be able to. People wanted more, they got it. That is such a misframing of what happened. Like the Helldivers community responding the way that they did. And Purple with another 5 bomb. She's doing her own member train today, and she gets us to 166. We're a 10 bomb away from being at the next milestone where I owe you guys some members. Somebody tag in and help out. Getting some big ones here from Purple and Joker Quinn as well. Like, what the Helldivers 2 community did has nothing to do with somebody who bought Horizon Forbidden West in the Philippines. These are not connected. They're not. What if Steam did it? What do you mean, what if Steam did it? Why would Steam do it? Why would Steam randomly initiate a region lock on a PlayStation game? It's the opposite. They're not supposed to get it in the first place. That's not true. Speak truth or don't bother talking. Horizon Forbidden West did not launch with the PSN requirement. That is false. Scott Pilgrim says, just wanted to say good morning before going to work. Thank you so much, Scott Pilgrim, with 2 months of memberships. You can't launch a game on Steam and then 10 months later be like, well, we're going to region lock it. What do you mean? What are you talking about? It's not been there for 10 months. It was supposed to? According to who? You? Do you work for Sony? Was it on the landing page? No, it wasn't. You're misconstruing things. Helldivers 2 was that way, not Horizon Forbidden West. You're confused. They don't want a repeat of Helldivers where the requirements added later. Why is the article assuming Sony did it? So you think Steam voluntarily region locked a random Sony game just for the fun of it? Who else would initiate a region lock? Why would Steam limit the sales of a game? Why? Just randomly. Instead of just reporting it's locked? Because there's no reason for Steam to initiate the lock. They don't want to limit where games can be sold. That runs counter to their business interests. And a 10 bomb from Sneaky Wolf nails it. I now owe you guys a 5 bomb. There it is. That's an Agent of Chaos as well. That's a big 10 bomb. Thank you, Sneaky Wolf. It's counter to the business interests of Steam to just randomly region lock a game. Only Sony can make those changes. Steam doesn't control that. Yeah, Steam's not going to just randomly say, hey, we region locked your game. What? Why? Steam was the one that initiated the Helldivers 2 lock after PlayStation required the login. That was them instilling a standard that is necessary if you're going to require a PSN. They did. Steam initiated the region lock on Helldivers 2 after the PSN enforcement got kicked in. It wasn't region locked at launch. Helldivers 2 was not region locked at launch because it wasn't required. Once they made it required, Steam then made it locked. That just shows you who the initiator is. The initiator is PlayStation. If Sony starts requiring PSN for those games next year, it's a huge issue for Steam to deal with it. They would have to refund those purchases. Yo, what's good, JTag? Been a couple of days since I've been in your Steam. Oh, you've been good? I've been great, man. Thank you. Guys, always double check your notification bell as well. A lot of you guys say that that's not what you're saying, but it just made me think of it. A lot of you guys are like, hey, I've not been getting notified. Make sure that your bell is not set to personalized. Your notification bell should be set to all if you want to get all the noties. What if Sony's solution to this confusing state is that they're going to just require PSN for everything? It makes far more sense that Sony initiated this and said, listen, we're going to need all our games to require it. So just all of our stuff needs to be region locked. That expectation needs to be set going forward. My assumption is the initiator here is Sony. I think that's a fair assumption. I don't think I'm like out of bounds in thinking that. Sony would be fine with that as they want people to buy PlayStation and not support Steam. For sure. I totally get why they're doing it. Did I read your question? No, let's put your question up here, Wolf Saints. Wolf Saints says, what do you think they'll do with Silk? Oh, that's what you mean. Silk in the Spider-Man game, since they didn't do DLC and canceled the Great Web. That's what you were asking about. I thought you were asking about Silk Song. Silk is the character hinted at the end. Yeah. I have no idea. I don't have a theory on that. I don't have a theory on what they're going to do with Silk. I don't know enough about the comic books to comment on that. Yeah, I saw that, Mandela. Assassin's Creed story trailers tomorrow. You can assume that. The article doesn't get to. Are they a news outlet or not? All right, let's go back and read what they're saying. Horizon Forbidden West is region locked on PC 10 months after release for some reason, subjecting millions to Sony's shenanigans. Okay. And then they said, why does PlayStation keep doing this? Right. So they are saying that Sony did it. Okay. SteamDB shows it. You can check their website. This might have made sense at launch, but not PC. Yeah. Again, Sony's previously done this. Sony recently saw a huge pushback. The whole approach seems counterintuitive. Yeah, I mean, they could literally say, we don't know, right? We don't know if Sony initiated this. Again, I think the assumption is that Sony did initiate it because the pattern, Eugene, the pattern is they initiated it with Helldivers 2, got blowback. They initiated it with Ghost of Tsushima if you want to play Legends. They initiated it with God of War. So when it happens to Horizon, they're supposed to be like, well, maybe Steam did it. F this outlet, not news anymore. They disregard it as a tabloid. Yeah, I think your standard that you're holding people today is absurd. You're on one today. You are just on one. I mean, the pattern, multiple games in a row, has been initiated by Sony with Helldivers, initiated by Sony with Ghost of Tsushima, initiated by Sony with God of War. But when Horizon suddenly is region locked, we're supposed to be like, it might not be Sony, it might be Steam. I'm not giving PlayStation the benefit of the doubt, and that outlet shouldn't either. It's an initiative from Sony. That's the pattern. The initiative from Sony is, we're fine to region lock single-player games and require a PSN, and it just happened to Horizon. Well, maybe Steam did it. Like, what? To report facts? Hang on. Horizon Forbidden West. They said, why does Sony keep doing this? So they are passively asserting it. Agreement to third-party EULA. Yeah, it doesn't say that it requires a PSN on the landing page. It doesn't. So if that's coming, it hasn't been pushed out yet. So if that happens, then we have our answer that they did initiate it. I would put money on the table. I would bet actual cash money that this was a Sony initiated thing and not a Steam initiated thing. They said Sony shenanigans? Yeah. That's fine for them to have an opinion on this. It's shenanigans to have single player games. To have single player games out here requiring a login and getting region locked. I think these outlets are totally allowed to have their own opinion. They can be like, well, here this happened. We think this is shenanigans. All they know is it's region locked. They don't know why or by who. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yo, thank you, Hilly. I appreciate that. GTA 6 trailer 2 is finally out. I'm not kidding. I'm literally sitting on Twitter right now. You know that the world would be on fire if that happened, right? Right? How many times have you tried this? How many times have you tried this? I'm gonna check your chat log, all right? I'm gonna check your chat log. You've tried this I've got to get a count now. I'm actually interested in the number of times that you've attempted to do this. Like, that's actually more interesting than whether or not the trailer dropped. What's more interesting is how many times you've tried to do this. I believe it's 4. No, you've had 3 timeouts. You have tried this 3 times. This is number 4. This is number 4. There we go. There's your fourth timeout. You're at 4. I guess the hat trick wasn't enough. 3 times of going, the trailer's out, as a live streamer sits actively watching news feeds and Twitter. You think you're going to actually get one over, like, oh my gosh, let's go check, everybody. I'm allowed to hold them to a standard of fact-finding and disregard them as a tabloid when they don't. And I'm allowed to have a certain... I allow for a certain amount of assumption to be made. I think it's totally fair to assume that if a game from PlayStation is suddenly region locked, that PlayStation initiated that. I think they're fair to assume that. Until given more evidence, it's fine for them to be like, clearly this is something Sony's doing. They've done it 4 times now. You know, 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time. Like, you could write a Dr. Seuss book, and it'd be pretty easy to be like, yeah, PlayStation initiated it. They initiated it with Helldivers 2, Tsushima, and God of War. 4th game in a row to suddenly have this happen. I'm assuming it's Sony until proven otherwise. That's fair to assume for a creator. I think it's fair to assume for a news outlet. I think it's fair. Sony made it clear last year they will region lock a game for this reason, and they've done it to 3 games, and this 4th game just got region locked. I think that's totally fair for a news outlet to be like, yeah, Sony did it. Unless given counter evidence, that's the fairest assumption to come to. It doesn't make sense to assume that it could be Steam, so we better not say anything in the direction of Sony until proven otherwise. No, it's Sony. This is a Sony initiative until we find other evidence. Steam's not in the business of just randomly region locking games. That's counter to their business interest. Yo, El Duderino with 31 months. I have a re-up. Now that you started 9 Souls, don't give up. I know you can beat it. I believe in you. Thank you so much. 177. They shouldn't be making assumptions. I think they're fine to make assumptions as long as they're not talking about things that are in the immoral or illegal realm. I think that stuff like this, they're in a much safer case to make assumptions. And Hilly just messaged me and says only the publisher can do this. Only the publisher can suddenly restrict a game on Steam. I do not think that Steam has the ability to just randomly region lock your game. That 100% has to be initiated by publisher. I don't even think their assumption is an assumption. I think it's a known thing. It's a known fact that Steam can't just region lock your game arbitrarily. It's got to be initiated by you. They can't just be like, hey, we region locked your game. What? Why? I don't think they have the power to do that. Unless it specifically states in their contracts that at any point in time we can region lock your game. I agree with Eugene here. Journalists should be held to a higher standard than content creators. Well, I think the mistake you're making is you're thinking that they're a journalist and that they're not. If I go to this Horizon Forbidden West, written by Issy van der Velde, he's just a contributor. He's a freelancer who covers for Games Radar. I think the problem is you're going to a contributor to Games Radar and saying, not a journalist, therefore tabloid. And I feel like that's a false dichotomy. Games Radar is not posturing as investigative journalism. They've got contributors. This guy's just a contributor. Like, it would be like people coming to me and doing that. Well, you're just a tabloid, Lono. I'm like, I'm a YouTuber. This guy's just a contributor to Games Radar. He's not a journalist. So Games Radar isn't a news outlet then. No, I believe we've gotten the news from him. We've gotten his opinion as well that it's shenanigans. And we've gotten the assumption that it is Sony. More than likely, that is assumption based on a priori information. Like, we've had this information prior that this is the standard, that Steam can't just region lock your game, you do it. PlayStation initiated it with the last 3 games that this has happened with. Sony did it with Ghost of Tsushima on May the 10th. These are the updates on the game's content. Do you have evidence here to indicate, Hilly? Do you have evidence to indicate here that this is been initiated by Sony on the Steam DB? It shows that the region, the restricted regions were added, but it doesn't necessarily say who did it. It's my understanding that this is something that is initiated by the publisher or the developer. It cannot be something that Steam just decides to do because they feel like it. Part of the function of these news groups is to collect news from various sources and package it for our consumption. I think I've just gotten to the point that I know we don't have gaming journalists, with the exception of someone like Tom Henderson or Jason Schreier, who are very careful and meticulous with what they report and how. According to Google, on Steam, only the game publisher can implement a region lock on a game, meaning they decide which regions the game will be available for purchase and play in. Steam itself cannot directly enforce region locks, but it facilitates the publisher's restrictions by checking the user IP address to determine their location. Now, that's according to Google AI, which, if it's properly scraping terms and conditions of Steam, then that's accurate. They're not required to fact check if this is in fact true. Now, again, that's Google AI, and I'm assuming that it has accurately data scraped Steam's terms and conditions. Steam, who initiates region lock? It's game specific and left up to the publisher. Region lock. Here we go. I'm trying to see if Steam has anything specific on it on their site. This is just a post that somebody made. Here we go, hang on. I'm trying to see if they say anything specific. No, they're just answering questions on this page. I'm trying to find something official. As far as the AI data scrape is concerned, Steam can't do it. It's the publishers that do it. They initiate it. Yeah, this person on Reddit asks, they said, "This is the info I've found from being a consumer and also in multiple different companies. Please correct if there's misinformation." They said, "It's game specific and it's left to the publisher on which regions are excluded. There's no definitive list available by Steam aside from the country Steam itself makes available when they decide to publish, and it is a per country basis." This is an audit trail of changes made by the publisher. Where does it show that the publisher initiated these changes, though, Hilly? So, yeah, I don't think their article is not factual. I think it's an understood thing. It's an understood thing that if your game gets region locked, that was something that you decided, not Steam. Steam isn't going to do that. And again, I don't think they have the power or the business interest to do that. You know what I mean? The account details are at the top. That's not account details, Hilly. That is simply a third-party website telling you who the developer and publisher are. They're just scraping that from the storefront. Yeah, they're just scraping that from the storefront, Hilly. That's how the Steam DB website works. It just grabs that info and the sub ID and the change numbers. It's just grabbing that. That's just an API grabbing the info from the storefront and from the back end of the game. That's not telling you that they're the ones that initiated the change orders. We know that Steam locked Helldivers 2 and kept it locked even after Sony removed the PSN requirement. Right, and the research into that indicated that they would only remove the region lock once they were told to by the publisher. The publisher initiated the region lock. PlayStation initiated the region lock on Helldivers 2 and would have to initiate the change to remove it. Yeah, Arrowhead CEO was confirming he was speaking to both Sony and Valve about getting it back up for sale in the non-PSN countries. It sounds to me like if it was just Steam, he could just talk to Steam. Why would he be talking to PlayStation? Right? The Arrowhead CEO is like, oh, I'd like to get it. Doom the Dark Ages game footage leaks online ahead of the developer direct. Why would he need to speak to Valve if it's all on Sony? Because once he gets the restriction removed, according to PlayStation, he would then communicate that to Valve maybe as a go-between. I don't know. If it's only up to Steam at that point to remove it, he would just say, hey, Steam, can you remove that? I'm the CEO of the dadgum company that made the game. You've literally just proven the point, Eugene. The CEO of Helldivers 2 can't get the game unregion locked. What, you think Steam's just going, nope, we're not going to do it. You're the CEO of the company, and we're not going to do it for you. It's because PlayStation has to initiate it. They're the publisher. They have the publishing rights of the game. They control where it lands. Do products I purchase on Steam account have any region restrictions? In most cases, there are no region restrictions on products purchased directly from the Steam store. That doesn't answer the question of who initiates the region lock. Like, it completely stands to reason that the publisher has the publishing rights, ergo, they're the ones that get to determine where the dadgum game is sold. Steam is not allowed to make that call. Steam doesn't have the publishing rights of Horizon Forbidden West. Sony does. So if you suddenly restrict where their game is sold, you don't have the right to do that. That's something Sony has to initiate. If Steam could reverse the region lock on Helldivers 2, that'd be as easy as pie. The CEO would pick up the phone or send an email from Arrowhead and say, can you reinstitute those regions? It would already be done. The CEO said he wants it back in those regions, and it still isn't. Gee, I wonder who's refusing to remove the region lock. PlayStation is refusing to remove the region lock. This is a dude that's made a game and it's sold on Steam and he's saying it's Sony. Oh, Thor is saying Sony's the one that does it? Yeah, they region lock Ghost of Tsushima. Even though Ghost of Tsushima, you only need the PSN if you're going to play Legends. I'm also not seeing any reports that Sony has removed access to the people who bought it. That's how it works. That's how it works, Eugene. If they region lock it, you can't use it anymore. That's what happened with Helldivers 2. There were people that got refunds. As soon as you region lock it, no. As soon as you region lock it, people can't play anymore. That's what happened with Helldivers 2. There were people that had to get refunds. That's how it works. It literally says this game's no longer available in your region. Hang on, let me find an image. It might have happened on Helldivers 2 because it's an online game. I'm very, very certain that owners of Helldivers 2 suddenly couldn't play the game because it was region locked. Region restrictions on Steam support is unable to modify or remove any region restrictions. Right there, yeah. Cobra Kai just posted the TOS. Thank you, Cobra Kai. Region restrictions on Steam. Steam support is unable to modify or remove any region restrictions. They can't modify or remove it. Steam can't do it. The publisher has to initiate it. This is a standard practice. That's the publishing company. They're the ones that can dictate where it goes. Steam can't be like, you have the publishing rights, we're in a contract. Well, we just suddenly decided that we don't want to make your game available in Africa. They can't do that. They don't have publishing rights over your game. That would be breach of contract. That would be so bizarre. It runs counter to their business interests. If it's not locking people out of the game, hang on, the game's radar thing indicated that. Boom. Let me look at the article here. Okay, this person just reported that they noticed it was region locked. They didn't say that they suddenly couldn't get into their game. Helldivers 2 region lock refund. Refunds have been granted. Can confirm. Steam is granting refunds due to the PSN requirement changes. Let's see what Tech Power Up says. Helldivers 2, can't keep up with it. This is not the refund that I have seen. I've seen posts. I believe it's legit. Yeah, I can't find any There were people that were getting refunds. Now, I don't know if they were getting refunds because they were locked or were they getting refunds because they were angry. Steam is refunding Helldivers 2 players who have passed the 2-hour mark. People are acting like they lost access. I don't know if that's true or not. That people are speaking as if they are. And my assumption was that was because once you region lock the game, you can't play it any longer. Weezy says the publisher initiates the region lock due to whatever requirements and requests etc. Not the first won't be the last. Yeah, the question now is, Weezy, when they region lock Horizon Forbidden West, does it prevent people who own the game from playing it if they live in, like, the Philippines? Does this revoke their access? Steam region lock. Do I lose access? Right here, keep in mind, you lose access to games that are region locked outside of your new location until you move your location back. Yes, they lose access to their game. I take issue with the sensationalism. It's not sensationalism, Eugene. We just did 10 minutes of research that backs the claim. People are going to lose access, and it's initiated by the publisher. These are facts. These are part of their terms and conditions. These are part of the pattern of games that get region locked. It's literally right now a known quantity. If you change your location to a region locked location, you lose access to those games. So, yes, the region lock on Horizon Forbidden West will make it so people that own the game can't play it all of a sudden. That's not sensationalist. That's like, huh? That completely gets at the heart of the issue of, like, digital ownership being, holding on by a thread. They can, like, push a button and then you can't have access to a game that you paid for. Imagine having 80 hours in Horizon Forbidden West and just suddenly not being able to play it. Yeah, Wheezy, that's what it says right here on the Steam community forums. You lose access unless you switch back or use a VPN. Hope they get their refunds in. But refunds are such a... If you want to do this going forward, then do it. Don't start retroactively going back like they did with Helldivers or now with Horizon Forbidden West. This is even worse for Horizon Forbidden West because it wasn't even on the landing page of the game. It wasn't on the landing page. It's not like they bought it and thought, oh, that's fine. They're not requiring PSN now. I'll just buy it anyway. This is totally different. This should not be allowed. There should be protections in place. The consumer should be protected. I don't care who the frick it is. I don't care if it's Sony or if it's Microsoft or whoever. You can't tell somebody who bought something, yeah, you don't have access to it now because, we just decided. We've changed a corporate policy. That's stupid. That's a product they've consumed and enjoyed for months. And, will you get your money back? What? Yeah, but Nightfire, this has nothing to do with regulators. Horizon Forbidden West, right now on Steam, does not require a PSN. This has nothing to do with regulators or government agencies. It's a game that consumers bought, unregion locked. There's no PSN requirement. You can't pin this on the regulators or governments or something. It's like you guys are grasping at ways to defend Sony. It's a stupid, completely, in my mind, it should be an illegal thing to do. You should not be able to suddenly take something from the consumer who paid for it simply because you had a policy change at your company. They didn't change policy, they're enforcing one? No, they're not. Hellstorm, you're really struggling with not saying things that aren't true. They're not enforcing a policy. People bought Horizon Forbidden West and there was no PSN requirement. There was no region lock. What you are saying is a lie. There was no policy at that point in time that if you bought that game from them, it required the PSN and was then therefore a risk that you were taking if they suddenly enforced it. What you're saying is false. It's false. That's not what's going on here. It's not like with Helldivers where it said the PSN requirement was there and they didn't enforce it for 2 months. There's a reason why PSN isn't allowed in those countries. Those reasons could now be impacting these issues. Oh, so now all of a sudden we should assume things and that should impact reporting, not the facts that we all just found over the course of the last 10 minutes? Now we should assume? That seems convenient. It should never been sold there. Why? Hellstorm. Establish why Horizon Forbidden West shouldn't have been sold in those regions when there was no PSN requirement at the point of sale. Why? You can't argue logically with this. What you're doing is you're defending a corporation. You're not defending a policy. You're not defending being consistent or enforcing a policy. At the point of purchase, there was no PSN requirement. The SEC sued Sony in 2017. Irrelevant. Red herring. Has nothing to do with the discussion. Am I assuming anything? I'm pontificating? They didn't pontificate when they wrote their article that you had a problem with. They spoke in facts. Everything that we know right now, according to the terms of service and the data available to us, publishers initiate the region lock. This was initiated by Sony. Once a region lock goes into effect, you lose access to the game. All things that were decried as false or sensationalism. It's all accurate. So to pontificate or to presume or assume that maybe something else is going on, that's irrelevant. And it's not the job of the reporter or the contributor or whoever to go and find all that stuff out. As we know right now, publishers initiate the region lock. Region lock removes access to a previously purchased game. Ergo, their article is factual. Unless given other information. If other information comes to light, then they can certainly update us. I highly doubt that that's what's going on. That, like, the governments of these countries are like, hey, we don't want our people buying anything from Sony. What? We're straining at the most unlikely of things to not say that Sony's doing something stupid. Like, to avoid saying that Sony's doing something stupid, I'm supposed to entertain the idea that maybe all these governments suddenly said that we don't want people playing a game published by Sony at the same time. At the same time, the Filipino government and the Korean government, they all got together and they said, we don't want anybody to play those games. Did they region lock any other PlayStation games? What about Days Gone? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. The whole situation's weird. They've not been consistent on it at all. The messaging's been inconsistent. The enforcement's been inconsistent. None of it makes any sense. And it's all been initiated by Sony, nobody else. Did you not have a license to sell there? It should have never been sold there. They're correcting so that they don't get sued. Can you cite evidence to your claim that Sony has no right to sell in the Philippines? So they literally are not allowed to sell to those people? I thought it had to do with privacy, which is why they couldn't make PSN. A license to sell? I have fam in the Philippines, so it does make me wonder. Is there evidence to your claim that they don't have a license to sell in those regions? Because you're saying it's a policy. Whose policy? So all these countries have the exact same policy that Sony's not allowed to sell anything to those consumers? Can you not buy Sony headphones in the Philippines? I'm looking. I need evidence to believe that Sony's just not allowed to sell in these regions. And if so, then every single one of their games would be region locked from moment one. Yeah, PSNs are different, Eugene, because a PSN is you entering into an agreement of information exchange with Sony. You're giving them your information, and that country says no for whatever reason. That's not the same. Listen, if Sony was not allowed to sell their property in those regions, it wouldn't have taken this long for people to discover that they were doing it anyway. What Hellstorm is claiming is absurd. They have been selling non-region locked Sony published property for years. When was the first game? A Days Gone and Horizon Zero Dawn and all those games? It's been like 3 or 4 years. We're supposed to believe that they just suddenly figured it out? If they don't have a plan behind this or some driving cause we're unaware of, it's pretty dumb. But I think at least one, if not both, exists. Yeah, it was 2020 when they started. So for 5 years, they've been selling in those regions. And you think Steam would take that risk? I don't think it's anything other than, Eugene, of they're trying to establish a consistent baseline, because they did it to the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. Suddenly the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster on Steam required the login. Horizon Zero Dawn remaster Steam. I think they're trying to get consistency, and they're going about it in one of the dumbest ways possible, right? So here's the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, right? Right here. Requires third-party account, requires a PSN, okay? Now, if I just go to Horizon Zero Dawn on the complete edition, okay? So we have the complete edition. It's not required. This is just the EULA. So I go back to a page. Here's the remastered. You see this extra box here? Third-party PSN required, all right? It's not here when I go forward because this is just the complete edition. So I just think it's consistency. It's like, well, they added it to the Zero Dawn remaster, so they want Forbidden West to also have it. It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me if in a matter of days, or even today, that suddenly Horizon Forbidden West requires that. All of a sudden it shows up. That's what I think's going on. PlayStation wants consistency across their property, and they're just going about it in a really, really dumb way. Yeah, the remaster's new, Eugene, and that's what frustrated people. There were people that were like, well, I have the complete edition, and I'm interested in the remaster, and I can't buy it because they were in a locked region. And that was frustrating to people because it was like suddenly they introduced something new. So the newer version of Horizon Zero Dawn requires it, and I think they're just bringing Horizon Forbidden West in line with that. They're just doing it retroactively. That's the problem, is I do not think you should be able to do that. I'm going to stand for the consumer when that happens. It's like, wait a minute. No. Consumer protection should say you're not allowed to do that. You're retroactively. That's like breach of contract 101. There were no terms agreed to at the point of sale of Forbidden West. You can't suddenly make that a thing. Oh, yeah, no, you need a login and it's region locked. Sorry. Like, what? Well, we'll give you your money back. Well, who gives a frick? What if they were a couple hours away from finishing it? SEC has already sued them for it. They don't want to get sued. So then why haven't they done it? Why haven't they done it in all these other cases, Hellstorm? I asked you to substantiate that. SEC sued Sony. They filed a settlement. It was an antitrust class action lawsuit filed in 2021 for Sony overcharging consumers. Oh, no, that's a different one. Hang on. They were fined $1 million. Is this what you're talking about in the late 90s? They were going to. SEC sued Sony Philippines, doesn't return any results. You're not substantiating your claim. In 2017, okay, SEC sued Sony 2017. I'm not seeing the case in the news anywhere. What were they sued for? Have you put it in chat and I just missed it? You keep saying that you say they didn't have a license to sell there, they're going to get sued. I don't see evidence of that anywhere in my searches here. You should be able to point to an article, a headline, something, if they were in fact sued by the SEC because they don't have a license to sell in these countries. Sony sued license to sell in countries. Copyright infringement. EU court upholds the right to sell PlayStation add-ons. Sony facing a lawsuit. That was in 2023. I have not been able to even remotely substantiate your claim that the SEC sued Sony for selling in markets that they're not allowed to sell, and that's related to what this is. Maybe they were cited as a warning. Okay, cited. Cited doesn't return anything. Sony, oh, here we go. SEC cited Sony license to sell in countries. No, SEC cited Sony. We'll just search for that. I can't find a single thing to even remotely substantiate the claim. I can't. They did not get sued for this. That's what I mean. I feel like he's just making something up. I don't see any evidence that Sony was sued and that would be related to them suddenly region locking one of their games. You put it in chat? No, you didn't. You put 2017. If you put a link in chat, I can't see it. You can't put links in chat. Can you give me the title of the headline? Can you give me the outlet that published it? You can't post links in chat. YouTube will filter that. There's too many bots and phishing scams out there. Yeah, it's region locked, Eugene, and it doesn't say you need the PSN. If you go to the Horizon Forbidden West landing page right now on Steam, it doesn't say that the PSN's required. It's my guess that it's going to show up any day now. I think they're just getting ready. If that's what PlayStation's doing, that's what they're doing. They're just going to roll it out on every game, and they're just going to retroactively do it. And then Steam will just issue refunds to people in those regions, would be my guess. It's a red herring. It's Valve making the sale, and they have about 150 countries who can make direct purchases with Steam with no issues. Reuters. Sony settles U.S. lawsuit anti-consumer over game sales. Okay, thank you. All right, hang on. All right. Reuters. Sony settles U.S. consumer lawsuit. That should be enough to find it. Okay, here we go. That's in 2024, though. Sony has settled a federal lawsuit in San Francisco that claimed restrictions on digital game sales for its PlayStation console caused consumers to overpay for games. No, that's not what this guy is claiming. That's a completely different suit. April 4th of 2017. Listen, Hellstorm, I don't know what's so hard about this. You're typing, so type it out. What's the name of the article? Who wrote it? What's the title? That's not difficult, right? I literally found the article that Nightfire was referencing in 2 seconds. It's not the same lawsuit. It's a different lawsuit. Type the name of the publication and the title of the dadgum article. This isn't difficult. You just keep throwing out like 2-word responses. It's not hard to substantiate your claim if it actually happened. I just need enough data to find it. You're saying April 4th, 2017. So you've given me more of the date. Give me the outlet. Give me the name of the article. Sony SEC, I'll search for it. Sony SEC, April the 4th of 2017. I've got sec.gov where they were condensing consolidation financial statements. They were engaging in acquisitions, joint ventures, and capital expenditures. I've just got a bunch of SEC landing pages that don't tell me anything. I don't think this has anything to do with them being sued. Yeah, in April of that time, there's not a publication out there. I've got a Verge article about a camera. I've got articles about a Sony camera in 2017. Nothing about the SEC suing them. Trust me, bro. I'm always curious why it takes so dadgum long. Why does it always take people like this so long? Like, you make the claim. It isn't hard. If I find an article, I can give you the name of the publication and the title of the article in about 20 seconds, maybe, if I make a bunch of typos and I'm like typing on my phone and having a hard time. I never understand why this always takes these mysterious people that show up and claim to have all this information. They always take a dadgum year to type anything. Jiminy Christmas. It's been 10 minutes. What are you doing? You had the link. You claimed you put the link in chat. Just tell us the title and the publication. They're using dial-up, or they're sending it by carrier pigeon. Echo Point Nova is on sale. Awaken Astral Blade is also on sale. Those are two games I've recommended to you guys in the past. Key requests are open for a retro boomer shooter called Gravelord. Ooh, it looks cool. The document's in your Discord under Tech Talk. Silver Mist, why are you in here on an alt? Office of General Counsel, April the 4th, the SEC here. Sony Entertainment Network. Okay. By way of background, you stated that SEC is a company organized and existing under laws of Hong Kong and operates Sony Entertainment Network, SEN, in Singapore, Indonesia, Taiwan, Malaysia, Thailand, and Hong Kong. SEN is an online platform that offers various content and services such as online community and online gaming systems, which requires an SEN account in order to participate. Since SEN is an internet-based system, persons in the Philippines can create an SEN account to participate in the online community and to purchase content from or use their services. An SEN account holder can buy content and services from SEN only by using funds from an associated SEN online wallet, which can be funded by using credit. Finally, SEN employees are located in Hong Kong. Okay, you've not proven the point at all. In fact, you've made your point completely irrelevant. They have issues with the fact that they have to use their services and account in order to buy things. This does not state that they can't sell in those regions. Their entire issue is the same freaking issue that exists today. You can't make a PSN in those regions. Their issue is you need to make an account in order to participate, and you use their internet-based system and have to fill your wallet with that account that you've created. That does not apply to a game sold on Steam. You don't need the account. You don't need to add money to a wallet with that account. You don't need to interact with Sony's online services to play these games through Steam. That's not applicable. This case has nothing to do with what we've been talking about. The issue here is SEN being available to persons in the Philippines. That's the issue. SEN is a Sony Entertainment Network account. It's not applicable. It does. You can't just say that it does when it clearly doesn't. I'm reading the document. The SEN doesn't even exist anymore, by the way. It's PSN. SEN was a Sony Entertainment Network, and they didn't want people in their country to make accounts with that online network, and then they add wallets. They have to have the account in order to buy the services or the goods. That's the issue. There's nothing in here that says they can't sell items in the Philippines through Steam or anything else. Can you buy Sony headphones in the Philippines? Can you buy Sony televisions in the Philippines? That would negate your entire point. Their issue is with people interacting with the network and making an account with the network. That's what's clearly stated here. Yeah, we saw that Ice Queen Gaming. They're going with 3 co-leaders at the company going forward. So the dude must have been a workhorse. Looks like Wu Chang Fallen Feathers is going to, they said when they hit 50K, they're going to reveal more outfits and things that you can get in Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Looks like they are 100% going to lean into that element of popularity. I've never heard of SEN or whatever. Well, that was back in 2017. It's not called that anymore. They don't want you making accounts with PSN, which is the PlayStation Network. Does not mean they're legally allowed to. Argument from silence and use substantiated no restrictions whatsoever within the law or a court case that Sony's not allowed to sell goods or services or items in the Philippines or any of these other regions. You have not established that. All you've established is that in 2017, they had a similar issue that they have now. They don't want you making an account with Sony's network. You have not substantiated your claim, because if your claim is true, then they have been illegally selling their games in those regions for the last 5 years. Every single PlayStation port on Steam that has been sold non-region locked is in violation of this claim that you're making. Your claim has been falsified, dude. Like, stop. You misfired and misunderstood. That lawsuit that you just put in my lap quite literally is just reaffirming what we already know. You can't make an account with the PlayStation Network or a Sony-owned network if you live in those regions. There is no restriction that we've been able to find or substantiate about, like, well, you can't buy anything if you live in those regions. Like a smudge that just won't go away. This is correct. Well, I can't wait for Sony then. They'll get sued again. They'll get sued again for selling Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn. Those games are all available right now. All of them. No region lock, no PSN required. Sony just out here day after day breaking the law. You know? Hilly says you can buy Sony products in the Philippines. Yeah, he just found a website that allows you. Yeah, they're letting you buy the products. Come on, it's not about products. No, it's about creating an account with their network. So, if I go to PlayStation Publishing, right? All these games are being sold illegally. All of them. Illegal. This one's region restricted. Illegal. 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 This one's still region locked. This has been region locked. Look how many things. Look how long they've been doing. Returnal, illegal. Miles Morales, illegal. Last of Us Part 1, illegal. Sackboy, Uncharted Collection, God of War, Days Gone, the original Horizon Zero Dawn, the original Helldivers. They're just out here just being mega illegal. Like, the idea that you're right, and this has been going on for 5 years with zero repercussions, like, that just is beyond the scope of believability. It's like there's just no way that that's what's going on. The simplistic answer is the easiest one. Sony is creating a standard. Their games will require PSN. They're doing it on Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster. They're doing it. They're seemingly like it, as far as we can tell, they're adding it to Horizon Forbidden West and then all games going forward because they started with Ragnarok. It was like a hybrid with Tsushima. They tried to do it with Helldivers and they got told no by the community. So they made an exception. Going forward, everything's going to require it. Right? What's the next game to come? What's the next one? What was the Last of Us Part 2? There's been a handful of announcements recently of PlayStation games coming to Steam, and they all are requiring the PSN. They all are. Don't know what to tell you. Almost there. That's why they're creating the standard. Right. Your assertion and claim was false. You can't suddenly move the goalpost and be like, I was right. If in a year, every single PlayStation game requires the login and they're all region locked. Days Gone and Returnal, all of them. That's not what you were saying. Because they're not allowed to sell there? No, we falsified your claim. You can buy Sony products there, no problem. You're not telling the truth. You're either willfully lying or you're misinformed. It's one of the two. We have falsified your claim. They are allowed to sell there. You are not allowed to make an account with their network per your own lawsuit that you thought was evidence of your position. So no, not true. If they're not allowed to sell there, they've been breaking that law for 5 years. Your claim is ridiculous, and it's a little embarrassing that you keep insisting that that's true. If it requires PSN, it means more PlayStation sales? No, it does not. If it requires a PSN, you're still buying it through Steam. You simply have to create a PSN before you can interact with the content. Also, Valve is the one selling it. Yeah, Valve is the one selling it, not PlayStation's just merely publishing it there. An analog switching. What's John Linneman talking about? Oh, I would never use anything like that. John Berthal has been cast in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, also starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, Charlize Theron, Lupita, and Robert Pattinson. Wow. There we go. PSN allows Sony to have data on the consumers. That's precisely why those regions don't want you to make an account with them. That was the issue in the lawsuit that we just read. They didn't want you to make an account with the PlayStation Entertainment Network. Or no, it was the SEN. It was the Sony Entertainment Network. They didn't want you to make an account with them. So, all right, here's what we got to do. We got 20 minutes. All right? We got 20 minutes. So, if you guys want to extend, we need to hit 200. We need 23 more members. I'll extend. We have not extended once this week. If you guys want to extend, that's totally fine. We got 20 minutes. I am, though, going to use the restroom and hit some ads. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it for the next 20 minutes, all right? So I only ever use ads when I walk away. Do me a favor. If you haven't hit like yet, please hit like. Let's get to 400. We only need 24 more. You guys have crushed it today. Huge turnout, huge amount of likes. And the member count's a little slow going this week, but we've had big Thursdays and Fridays lately to bounce back. So you're definitely missing something. I'm not missing anything. You haven't provided a single shred of evidence in support of your claim, and you just keep claiming that it's true, and you've literally falsified your own claim with the document. So I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, that was Niz. Friendly fire. Friendly fire. Niz says, yes, you are definitely missing something. Because your name was Gray, Niz, I just immediately saw, and I was like, I thought it was Hellstorm. My bad, Niz. Niz out here catching strays. My bad, bro. Says, I got cooked for no reason. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here, I'll give him a gift a member, and I hope it goes to Niz. I hope it goes to you, bro. I'm gonna poke the line. Let's get 23 members. Let's go. Let's go. If you guys got resubs, do them. Gift them. Get a train going. Get a single train going. I'll start it. No, Nizra jumps back in. Niz, if you're paying for your own membership, you want to bump up to Member Plus. It's $1 more, but you get into the green room segment, which we may be going to very soon here if you guys don't extend. Thank you so much, Niz, for jumping back in. I can't add you to the total over here if you're not at Member Plus, because you could just be celebrating a gifted, and I can't tell. Cobra Kai asks me, did I see the Silent Hill update? No, I did not. Yes, Cobra, I did not see, I don't know what you're talking about. Silent Hill F and Stonespire gifts a member and gets us to 178. Now, Stonespire might be trying to do his old tricks. We'll see if he does. If he does 2 more, there, yep, he's doing it. Somebody get ready. Somebody. There's got to be a monster in the hiding in the shadows waiting to drop that 20 bomb to get us to 200, and that'll extend the stream. There it is. Stonespire's always out here fishing. He's always out here trying to bait and get the big boys to bite. We'll see if he does. We'll see if he succeeds. Would you pay $100 for GTA 6? I would pay $100 for GTA 6 because I'm a content creator and I need to be in there day one. You know? Guys, real quick, double check that it saved your like. We only need 19 more likes. Ending with 400 likes would be huge. It would be huge, 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 huge today. But yeah, I would be willing to pay because I'm a content creator. Like, I need to be in there day one. And 31 months from before 1 is 0. That counts in the total. Those renewals count as long as you're at Member Plus or VIP. And Joker Quinn is going to gift a member. He's like, come on, we can go on a little member train. He's like, we can do it. We only need 18 more. Thank you so much, Joker Quinn. Joker Quinn has been very consistent lately, even dropping 5 bombs in addition to all of his singles. You know what I mean? I'm still reading. Bit was a guffaw moment to me. When did I yell I'm still reading? Oh, I remember that. I'm still reading. What was I reading when I said that? I was reading something to Doc, maybe? Doc Dark, was I reading game names or something? I can't remember. Wheezy says, I feel for the people who can't access PSN account per region. I've been locked out of my PSN account for 2 months and counting now after providing all my evidence to support. I don't own a PS5 anymore and was getting ready for Spider-Man 2, but I'm still in a holding pattern. Oh, that sucks, Wheeze. Why'd they lock your account? What happened? And Amskin gifts a member. Guys, it's Amskin's birthday, and he's out here gifting members like a champion and gets us to 183. Thank you so much, Amskin. It was reading the PlayStation games to Doc for this year. Oh, it was the blog. It was the blog of all of the games coming out, and I yelled, I'm still reading. Like, it was like, yeah, there's so many, and none of them are first party. It's like, I try to tell people, like, man, PlayStation doesn't care about this crap. They don't care about your Twitter fights and your first party, scorekeeping. This guy left a comment on my Nintendo Switch is growing up video, or my Nintendo is growing up. I think they're aware of how they've struggled with the follow-up successful console in the past and are doing their best to avoid making that mistake again. It's also the first console they've done without Iwata involved. He was still alive when they came up with the Switch. As a longtime Nintendo fan, I'm glad they are choosing the safe route with the Switch 2 because I want them to remain on top more than anything right now. In in the future, depending on how things go, they might grow comfortable enough to try more wackier stuff again, while keeping to the core Switch design. Yeah, I agree with you. I was really hoping that Nintendo video would pull up. Sometimes after a couple of days, we suddenly get like an uptick, and it keeps wanting to. It keeps flirting with pulling up and blasting through the line, but it just won't. I was really proud of that video. It came together really well, and it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. It's hard to cover Nintendo here for some reason. All right, guys, you got 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes to extend. We need 13 more likes. We need 17 more members. Thank you, everybody who has already hit the like button today. I've been keeping an eye on the news cycle as well. Nothing major happened today. Final Fantasy VII's Rebirth launch. Ted Price retiring from Insomniac. Phantom Blade Zero trailer. I'm gonna unfollow this guy. These freaking Web3 crypto guys. Avowed has put out cosplay guides today. Somebody was complaining about there being no Avowed marketing. Oh, they put out cosplay guides. Weezy says, I have two-factor login. I can't provide it because I switched phones. So they asked me to use a console. I don't have one. So they asked for all my... Nizra upgrades to Member Plus, and that counts as 2 when anybody upgrades. So we're at 185. We are 3 bombs away from extending the stream. Thank you so much, Nizra. I don't believe have one, so I asked for all my evidence. I did. That was 2 months ago and still waiting. They've got everything except for my SSN fingerprints and birth certificate at this point. Huh. Yeah, you would think they would be able to use your name and your purchase history or account history or like a credit card to validate that it's you. Cosplay 3 days early with the deluxe edition. Huh? I think we might have just hit the highest number we've ever had of member pluses and above with his upgrade. We're trying to get to 600 people at member plus and above, and we're at we're at 559. We're one away from 560. We're one away from having 560 people at member plus and above. No, mama. She came busting in the room with bourbon. She's like, is it time for a drink? Like, no. That we can have some, we'll have drinks later or something, mama. We need 41 people to upgrade to Member Plus right now. Madam wants to have a drink in the afternoon. Yeah, Microsoft, the Xbox Developer Direct is tomorrow. A new Assassin's Creed story trailer is tomorrow for Shadows. I believe Assassin's Creed Shadows previews hit tomorrow. I believe Joe Raptor might even be playing Assassin's Creed Shadows tomorrow. And then I believe Friday even more is coming out. Yeah, it's going to be a busy 2 days. It's going to be a very, very busy 2 days. All right, you guys have 7 minutes. I've been a man of my word on this one lately. I've been immediately scheduling and bouncing. I've not been lingering. We've already kind of gone long today anyway. This has been almost a 4-hour stream as it is. It's been fun. It's been fun. Yeah, lots of AC stuffs tomorrow. Yeah. Tommy Hendy, Wheezy, says he's hearing really good things from like his contacts about it. Like there was the one leak too. There was a previewer who got to play it and they weren't interested. They thought it was going to be like a 1 out of 10. They walked away from the preview and they're like, this thing's a 9 out of 10. Like it's really changing hearts and minds. And I hope that's the case because I'm really looking forward to it. So we'll see. No, I did not get a preview of AC Shadows. Yeah, we were in the UB creator program, and then I got in a kerfuffle with Mr. Person from Forbes, and then all of a sudden I got kicked out of their program. So my spidey sense kind of tells me, I think he reached out. We got to do like an Avatar review that did really well for us, and I was so pleased to be a part of their program. I've always kind of been in UB's corner, and then they just randomly kicked me out. Somebody emailed them and said, you shouldn't work with him, which, I mean, it's basically passive admittance of business disruption, which is illegal, but there's nothing I can do. So, nothing I can do. It's a bummer. It's a bummer because I was heavily in their corner, man. I still am. Like, I didn't like suddenly decide I'm going to be like against Ubisoft games. Like, I'm not vindictive. I was just kind of disappointed. I thought it was really unprofessional. Oops, that was my bad. Can't just be kicking people on Twitter. Yeah, Creature's the one that picked that fight with him. I was asleep when he did it. Wheezy says, I thought it would be a silly little joke. I didn't expect them to take it seriously. My fault, gangsta. Yeah. Yeah. I was really, really bummed. I was like, really? I was like, this is, you know, this is still going on. And then they still kept emailing me. They said, congrats, I was pre-approved to play Project U. Where it was so weird. I got invited to stuff with X Defiance. It was so bizarre. Yeah, they said, after further reviewing your recent creator program application, we've been made aware of concerning behavior linked to your previous creator account. We take these types of allegations seriously as we strive to ensure that our communities and the creator program are safe, welcoming spaces as outlined in the Code of Conduct. We have therefore made the decision to remove you from the program. So they literally admit to engaging in business disruption. Like, they basically like, we were made aware, as in somebody reached out to us and we're not going to work with you anymore. And what's interesting too is their logic is so weird. It's like, I never used my Ubisoft account to do anything wrong. I didn't break any of your terms and conditions. Like, you're not banning me from your games. You just were made aware, you know, which was, it just was super bizarre. It was like, we did that Avatar review. People seemed to like it. You know, I was excited to be involved, and yeah, they bounced me because somebody reached out and said, you know, he's a this or a that. Look into 2020 was basically what happened. Yeah, our Avatar preview did pretty well, 6K views, and we published that 2 years ago. It was in 2023 that we published that. So that was actually really good for that time. Our channel wasn't as big back then. So what was really funny too, Wheezy, is they kept inviting me to stuff after that. All right, 2 minutes. You guys aren't extending again. Unless somebody swoops in, you guys are not extending again. You need 15 members to extend. I'm going to schedule Green Room. When you guys extend, we turn it into like an AMA. You guys can just ask me anything. It's a members thing. You guys can use the question command. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. You got 2 minutes. We're going to need a couple of 5 bombs to make it happen, and we'll extend the stream and turn it into an AMA. I just thought it was really unprofessional. It was like, you know, am I going to continue to face that? Like, hey, 5 years ago, there were some tweets. It's like, okay, like, the Discord link expired. Can it be updated? There's no way the Discord link expired, homie. It's a custom URL. What you mean? Discord.gg/ReforgeTV. Like, that literally can't expire. It's a custom URL. Yeah, it still works. I don't know what you talking about, bro. Mistaken identity happens. See you tomorrow. Favorite DualSense color? Probably the black one or my Astrobot. All right, it's 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock. Let me schedule this. All right, there we go. I'm going to set up redirect. Yo, let's get 8 more likes really quickly, though, before we leave. Quick, quick, quick. Make sure it's saved your like before we leave. Let's go to the green room. Close that. Close that. Okay. Unfortunately, my black DualSense is the only one that got stick drift. Sad. All right, there you go. Is redirect set up? It is. There's the link in chat. Hey, thank you so much for being at a Member Plus or a VIP. We're so close to the highest we've ever been. We're like 559. So everybody who's been a part of that effort, thank you. We're hoping to get roughly 40 more people to bump up and hit that 600 milestone of having that many people paying for their own membership. It is a slow process turning that rudder on YouTube, and you guys are helping us with that. So thank you so much, whether you're at Member Plus or VIP. If you're watching the tail end of the broadcast, you can come with us to the green room. It's an end-of-the-day discussion and a planning session for the next day's streams and projects and things like that. I'm going to end that stream and redirect over. If you want to come with us, click join, pick Member Plus, and you can be a part of that extended show. I'm going to change that thumbnail because we're no longer live in the public.